All right, I think we're live. Think we're good to go now. Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties. For some reason, the first stream link wasn't working and it wasn't allowing me to see any comments. So we apologize for that. Uh, we're very excited to. I'm very excited to welcome my friend Daniel to co-host this live stream with me for the Concacaf Champions Cup Final. Danny, how we doing, man?
We're doing awesome, man. It was my brother's birthday. Got to go to the Marlins game, got to watch the Champions League final while I partied at the Marlins game. So a lot of awesome sports. Then I caught a little bit of the Inter Miami game while I was on my way home, and now we're minutes away from a possibly another MLS team lifting up the CONCACAF Champions Trophy, and honestly, that would mean so much to the league, and I know so much to you.
Yes, I can't wait to see if Columbus can be the second team in my lifetime to lift the Concacaf Champions Cup trophy. I think they have the best chance of any team we've seen. Obviously Seattle won in 2022, but this Columbus team just seems different. They're a very well coached team, and we'll get into that later about their wonderful coach and Wilfred Nancy. But yeah, man, this team looks like they're ready. They're locked and loaded, and they had a hell of a path to get here to make it this far. And I've said that I think that this is probably the easiest game that we've seen thus far.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going back to take a look at the at their road, and just to kind of see what it was, and just remember to remind our viewers, essentially who they had to beat to get to the final. Columbus beat none other than possibly one of the best Mexican teams in the semifinal when they faced Monterrey, who we all know beat Inter Miami in the quarterfinals just before that. So, they had to get through one of the toughest teams before that. Let's not forget they beat probably another one of the tougher teams in Mexico in Tigres, eliminating them on penalties in Mexico. So no tough matches scare the Columbus Crew. It seems that way, and like you said, of the Mexican teams that they've played so far, this might be the easiest one of the bunch. So a lot of interesting storylines here, and really I'm just excited for this game to get going.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what goes on with this match, and hopefully, like I said, Columbus is a very well coached team. They have a lot of good players. Pachuca, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't played a match since May the 11th, so they haven't played in almost 3 weeks. They could be very rusty. I mean, you could make the argument that they're well rested, but maybe they're too well rested. So we'll have to see how well they play out of the gate. They're a very well coached team, just like Columbus is, and they had a pretty tough path to get to this final. They knocked off Club America in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, to get here, and that was Club America has been a very good team in Liga MX this year. In both title races, right? The first half of the season, the second half of the season. So this just I think this game is going to come down to just two very well coached teams. And I think it's going to be a shootout, honestly. I think this game could literally go either way. Obviously, Pachuca has the advantage with it being played at home. And they are going to have, they said that the Columbus Crew playing in an elevation of like 8,000 feet higher than what they're accustomed to. That will probably make a difference in the match. That's a huge difference. I know in football they talk about when teams go to play in Colorado, the elevation is a huge. It's hard. It's hard to breathe, hard to play. So I would say that probably will make a difference at some point in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, I can tell you from firsthand experience. I've played in Denver, and it's not easy. It's very, very tough to play in altitude. But Cucho, I was reading reports, and Cucho came out and said this week that that shouldn't be a problem. I don't know if you saw, Will, over the week, the crew were tweeting out pictures all week of them training with special masks that would, essentially mimic I guess the conditions that they were going to be facing, playing in the altitude of Mexico. But I've never used those masks, so I can only tell you what it's like to play in altitude only a mile high. This is a little bit more than a mile high. So, we'll see how it takes, its toll on the team going into that second half, where I think is going to be, the more interesting of the two halves.
Yeah, and it's going to be so nice for the Columbus Crew to get Cucho Hernandez for this game, because there's several matches that he has missed in the Champions Cup games leading up to this, and that's what's been so impressive, that they were able to win without him, because he is their best player. I think that's I think that in my eyes most people would agree with that. So it would be nice to have him up top. Obviously, Cucho Hernandez has been very good for Columbus since he was a record transfer fee signing from Watford back in 2022. And they also have your boy Diego Rossi, who a lot of people know, especially LAFC fans, because he is one of their first signings that they had ever made in club history. And he went to when it was, I want to say it was it Fenerbahce, I think was the club he went to in Turkey. Right. And then he came back to MLS last summer with the Columbus Crew, and they obviously swapped him out they swapped Zelarayan out for Rossi. They couldn't keep both players, and the rest is history, right? They won the MLS Cup last year. Was a great signing. I know a lot of Crew fans would have loved to keep both players, and unfortunately they weren't allowed to. And I know a lot of people say, well, if it was Miami, they would have been allowed to keep whoever they wanted, right? There would have been no questions asked. But it worked out for them. Even though they were not allowed to keep Zelarayan, they were still able to win MLS Cup last season.
No, absolutely. And one, you talked a little bit about Cucho and the plus on having him back, because he's been out, nursing an injury, or over the last few games in the MLS season. You talked a little bit about my Uruguayan buddy Rossi, who rocked the league. Basically took the league by surprise when he signed with LAFC and was absolutely amazing. Had a decent stint out there in Turkey, and now, like you said, he came back and won MLS Cup last year. But one name that you're forgetting, which I think is probably the most important name on that Columbus Crew roster, is a guy by the name of Darlington Nagbe. And this guy is a MLS vet. He's played on a number of teams. He's played on, if I'm not mistaken, Portland, Atlanta, and also now on Columbus. I honestly, I would love to see Columbus win for him, because he's one of those guys that, for one reason or another, he didn't get the chance to go play in Europe, although he has had the ability to do so when he was younger. So look, you name the stars, but the unsung heroes of the game, and one of the unsung heroes of this team is Darlington Nagbe. And I think as long as he's in there, he offers this team a chance to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, he has 3 rings with 3 different teams: Portland, like you said, Atlanta, and Columbus now. He is, and has always been, a very underrated player for any team he's played for, right? A lot of people said that he could have made the move to Europe several years ago. I think I can't remember who it was specifically. I think it might have been Twellman was saying back in 2017 or 18, he had a lot of offers, maybe at like Celtic or Rangers of the Scottish Premiership. But, he's always been a very talented player. When he first came to the league with Portland out of Akron, it was kind of difficult to figure what position he would play. They try to play him at winger. They try to play him as a defensive midfielder. Then they kind of found the perfect role for him more as like an 8. Which I think he's been very good in all the stints he's played, especially with Atlanta and Columbus and Portland towards the end of his tenure there. Yeah, I mean, he just knows how to win, man. Simple as that. How many players have 3 different rings with 3 different clubs in MLS and has been a key contributing player to each club? So I think Darlington Nagbe definitely is an X factor for this. He's played in several big games. He's calm, cool, and collected. He knows what he's doing. And I think that that is the type of player that you really need in a game like this to kind of keep tensions, keep emotions down, keep them composed, and give them the best chance to win. I'm excited, man. I'm fired up. I hope the chat is as fired up as I am. Because normally these type of games are have not been favorable to MLS. Like we said, there's only been one winner in the last, at least my lifetime, and it's been Seattle Sounders since they changed the format. This is a tournament that has always been dominated by Liga MX.
That's right. That's right. It's always been dominated by the Mexican teams, by Liga MX. Other than that Seattle win when they beat, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Tigres. If I got that right. I'm glad that you bring up this comment by kicking it with Drew, because I read it in there and I wanted you to bring it up. And I it's something that I think we should address, Will, and it's something that it kind of gets me upset, and it's with the league, knowing how important this game is for the league. The fact that they would schedule games around the same time and maybe not move the games to like maybe just Friday, early Saturday, and maybe Sunday, take advantage of the fact that there's no other leagues no other big leagues going on right now that you could schedule games around this game and have your entire audience focusing on this game. I think kicking it with Drew, is nailing it right in the head. Now, to not take away from that, we can give some of the viewers a little bit of an update on what's going around around the league right now, if you don't mind.
Yes,
we can give them a little update really quickly. But Miami and St. Louis are still tied at 2. Philly is up on Montreal 2-1. DC is losing to Toronto 2-0. Minnesota and Sporting Kansas City are tied at 0. Red Bull is beating Orlando 1-0. And LA is up on Chicago 1-0. And the last game going on right now is New England, Nashville. And that has New England with a surprise 1-0 lead over Nashville and that. So that is the update around the league right now. And like kicking it with Drew said, it's a shame that there are games going on and that not the entire MLS audience can focus on this, important matchup. Possibly one of the most historic matchups. It could be the second time an MLS team wins a Concacaf Champions Cup, and there's going to be games going on live, MLS games going on live at that time. So it's pretty sad, man.
No, it is. It is. And, I had tweeted something along those lines about, having a congested schedule. And I talked to a buddy of mine and we were talking about, if this was the only event going on tonight, that there probably would be, I don't know, it'd be, maximum viewership, but there's probably going to be 20 to 30% of people who aren't going to tune into this game because they're watching their club play. And, that's really sad to see. You want to maximize the biggest game in this region, or at least in North America. This is like the Super Bowl for soccer in North America, in my opinion, because you have two great leagues, or two good leagues, competing leagues, getting better each year, at least, especially on MLS's side. And, they're competing for a trophy that, like I said, they don't win very often. And you want to capitalize all eyes on this to have people watch them potentially win this trophy, because a lot of people, especially Liga MX fans, don't necessarily respect MLS because they think it's a weaker league just because of the dominance they've had over the years. So it would be nice to have as many eyes as possible on this game to watch people, or to watch the potential of MLS lift this trophy again for the first time in 2 years.
Absolutely. And I think it's a shame that, well, let me rephrase this. I think the correct MLS team made the final. Although if another MLS team had made the final, a team who wears pink, to say at least, I think MLS might have scheduled this weekend a little bit different, more, a little bit differently. And it's really sad that it's that it's turning into that. And you will, more than anybody, we talk so much about this. We want the league to mimic what Inter Miami is doing, and other teams to mimic what they're doing to bring star players and bring young talent, whether it's from Europe, South America. It doesn't really matter where the young talent's from. It's just we want to see that young talent. We're tired of seeing something like that goal the other day in that Orlando, who was that? Orlando, New York Red Bulls game?
Orlando, Chicago Fire.
Orlando, Chicago, that Facu Torres made that goal. I mean, we're tired of that. And we want to see, more 1-2s coming out from the back. And at least me, I'm a big proponent of that. And you and I have had a lot of conversations regarding that. And we want the owners to spend some money and bring better talent to the league.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in the summer transfer window. You've been vocal, man. You've been very vocal over the last few weeks, talking about a lot of big names. And I'm excited, man. I'm just sitting back and enjoying the summer transfer window and hoping everything that you've talked about in your last few videos comes true, because the folks you've talked to it about, you all got a lot of really good information. So, if you're saying it, I'm believing it, buddy. And
yeah, it's gonna be a crazy summer, man. Hey, real quick, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like the show below or the live stream to help us with the algorithm. We want to reach as many people as we can. We're gonna have a fun night tonight. Me and Donnie are gonna be hosting it all night. We're gonna have a couple guests swing by, so make sure you like this video. If you have any questions, make sure you comment. We're willing to answer your questions throughout the show. And also share with a friend. Let if you have a friend who likes soccer, Liga MX fan, Columbus Crew fan, or just a fan in general of soccer, share the show with them so we can spread it far and wide. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah. But yeah, back to the transfers. I mean, this summer is going to be crazy, man. This summer is going to be crazy. There are so many names that are linked with the league, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet. I mean, there's going to be even more names that we hear as the summer transfer window approaches us. Griezmann, it was announced that he has like a 12 million pound or 12 million euro buyout clause, which is nothing for a player of his caliber, right? There are several clubs in MLS that would be willing to pay that and probably then some. So that's the level of player that I think is going to end up making its way to Major League Soccer this summer, along with the De Bruyne, Marco Reus, and there's going to be even more names that we haven't even heard yet that's going to pop up and going to make their way to MLS this summer.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest names, and he's made, a crazy amount of waves over the last few days, especially with the numbers that they're talking about, the contract they're going to offer him, is Sergio Ramos, possibly becoming the first signing for, the San Diego team. They're looking at giving him, $12 million a year. I mean, for a 38, 39-year-old center back. I mean, you really sit here and you start thinking, what are some of these front office guys doing? I agree. It's great to bring that star and he's going to sell jerseys, but you can't pay a DP center back $12 million. Like that's just not the strategy. I mean, you got to focus on the midfield. You got to focus on maybe a number 9. Historically, those are the types of players that have made impacts in this league. A David Villa, a Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And now you're seeing it with Suarez. Not obviously not to take away from Messi, but Messi's kind of like a hybrid, a midfielder forward, and Messi's got 12 goals. Suarez has got 12 goals. I mean, they're just going back, but that's where I think, teams need to spend their money on, and not on center backs.
No, exactly. And, obviously defense matters in MLS. I was very upset to find out that Walker Zimmerman's making $3.5 million as a center back in MLS. And if you're making that type of money, you better be shutting down every single attacker you come up against when you play. So, if you're paying Sergio Ramos $12 million a year, man, he better be Sergio Ramos of 10 years ago, which he's not going to be. I mean, he's 38 years old. He'll be 39 years old when this club plays their first match. that would be an absolutely terrible signing. I want more of the Kevin De Bruyne type signings and less of the Sergio Ramos linked signings, especially when you link up with Chucky Lozano. You have to have a striker that can score goals in this league. I think of the last 10 MLS Cup winners, there's only every single MLS Cup winner has had a striker who scored 15 plus goals. You have to have a striker who can score goals in this league, or you won't win. And I think, I mean, 12 million a year, Danny. I mean, my God, man, imagine what kind of striker you could get if you're willing to pay that, man. He would automatically be like the second or third highest paid player in the league.
Absolutely. I mean, behind Messi, I think Messi gets paid $40 million in total is what came out, a few weeks ago when all that salary cap stuff came out. But, it says it right out there, and the unrest cure, he says it. Ramos coming here for that kind of money just reinforces the view of a retirement league. Look, I agree with that comment, but again, like Will and I are discussing, we disagree with that signing. We disagree, that players, coming over at that age shouldn't be making that money, especially in those positions. Now, you're talking about maybe a 37, 38-year-old forward, maybe like a Lewandowski or something like that. Well, maybe I'd be willing to give him $12 million. Why? Because he's got hundreds of goals under his belt in European soccer. And while I'm saying that, it looks like St. Louis has scored a third goal and gone up ahead of Inter Miami, which is terrible for me. But yeah, so it's ridiculous that they're spending that kind of money. I agree that Kevin De Bruyne might be worth that kind of money. He can make a difference on the team still, but yeah, Ramos should not be making that kind of money. And I can see now that the teams are starting to come out onto the pitch. I see Darlington there, man. It gives me chills to see Darlington playing in a Continental Cup final. He's like Mr. MLS, right? He's got to be like Mr. Like I can't think of another player who represents MLS to the core as much as him. He spent his entire career in MLS, and he's just an absolute professional. And I see Pachuca's tifo going up.
Yeah,
it's let's see, they cut it off, and then I see it looks it's soft. It doesn't look like it was homemade. It looks like they got it printed at the shop, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that.
Man, this just feels like a big game. Like this feels a lot of times when you would have these matchups in years past. I mean, obviously MLS fans were hoping to lift this trophy, even unless like your MLS rival, like when LAFC was playing Tigres or Leon. They obviously, the Galaxy weren't wanting LAFC to win that, the title, but it just kind of like this just feels like it's a bigger deal. Like this rivalry between Liga MX and MLS has just strengthened so much over the last couple of years, and this just feels like a bigger deal, and it should. Like this, honestly, whether you're a Liga MX fan or if you're an MLS fan, both of these leagues need each other to sharpen and increase the quality of play in this region. And, you can't just have one good league and expect this to reach its potential. We need both of these leagues to be good. And I'm excited, man. This feels like a big match. This feels like a big match, Daniel. It feels like a big match.
I agree. It does. I think it's always felt like a big match as soon as we figured out, who the two teams were going to be in the final. Would it have been a bigger match if it would have been Columbus versus America? Maybe, and they were playing this final at the Estadio Azteca, possibly. But I kind of, I kind of like that they're not playing America. It would have just been too obvious. I love that it's against Pachuca, against a coach in Guillermo Almada, who has shown that he has the ability to win with a number of teams. You and I, we were talking about earlier that, he was one of the favorites to take over the Mexican national team. A lot of local fans or a lot of fans of the Mexican national team wanted him to take over because he's shown that resiliency with many clubs in Mexico. But, we'll see if he can finish the job tonight. They're putting up the lineups now. It looks like they're going to play a 4-2-3-1, with Salomon Rondon, the Venezuelan, being the lone forward up top. And, some of the names that I recognize in the lineup are, Idrisi is a good player. They have a couple good players down, at defense, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's beautiful sight, man. Beautiful, beautiful field. It just looks wonderful, man.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's really honestly hard to beat that Monterey background or landscape. That's like one of the most incredible, like the hills just over the stadium. You can see in the distance. That is one of the best stadiums I've ever seen. But obviously this is a nice looking venue. I wish it was a neutral site because I think Liga MX fans travel. There are so many Liga MX fans in the United States. You want it to be fair, obviously. Like if it went to Texas, that's going to give Columbus Crew fans a better chance of traveling than obviously to Mexico. And also that would have given advantage to, or it wouldn't give an advantage, but it wouldn't have been unfair for Pachuca because Texas is obviously a close enough location or venue to travel to. And I think that that would hopefully we can see it in the future to where it's a neutral site, kind of like it is obviously in the UEFA Champions League final, just to make it fair, especially since they've switched to the single game format for the championship. It used to be 2 legs. I think this is the first time that I can remember it being a single leg final. Last year, I'm pretty sure was a 2-leg final in years past. So I wish it was a neutral site.
I agree. I think that with Copa Libertadores and Copa Sudamericana, and you're seeing Conmebol kind of move in that direction with having single game finals and neutral sites. I think CONCACAF will eventually move to that as well. At least they've made the improvement of moving from 2 finals to just 1 final. But I guess, there's going to be an evolution. I can't say that I'm disappointed, though, because the fact that the entire Leagues Cup is played in the United States, and even if there were 2 Mexican teams that make the final and it still would be played in the United States, I think is ridiculous. So I kind of, if Columbus wins tonight in Mexico, it's almost like double, you're just doubling down on it,
Oh, Rossi. Looking hungry early on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. Let's go. Oh, hey, regardless of who you want to win, this is going to be an incredible match. Let's enjoy it. This could be history.
Absolutely. And Fabian is saying there, they're goated if they win. I agree, man. Winning in Mexico is tough. And not only that, not just the team, but we'll talk about it as the stream keeps going and as we bring on guests, but the job that Wilfred Nancy has done with this Columbus Crew team should probably cement him as one of the best managers in MLS all time as well. It's just unbelievable. And it's still 3-2 over in the Miami game, but
no comeback. Not yet.
Not yet. I'm sticking to this game right here, man. Columbus is really, really attacking.
This is the biggest game there is. This is the biggest game in the region. No disrespect. We talked a little bit earlier about the congested MLS schedule, but I mean, this is the trophy. This trophy right here. What do you guys think? Do you think this trophy matters more? Or does the MLS Cup trophy matter more? Which would you rather your club win? MLS Cup or a Concacaf Champions Cup trophy?
I think anybody who says MLS Cup over the CCC has got to be absolutely nuts. This is what gets the exposure for your team out there, across the world, playing, or having the chance to play against a Real Madrid, in a Club World Cup. Not only that, but the winner of this, if I'm not mistaken, qualifies to the 2025 Club World Cup. So how cool would that be, to qualify and be one of those 32 teams?
Also, the winner of this match faces the winner of the Copa Libertadores final winner as well. So whether that be River Plate or Palmeiras or whoever it is, I mean that's another reason why this match means so much. And I honestly thought that the MLS had its best chance of winning the Concacaf Champions Cup this this year just because of how many teams were entered. There were 10 teams in Concacaf Champions Cup at the beginning of this tournament, the most in history for a league, right? And you think that when there's 10 clubs and there's only 6 Liga MX clubs, that the numbers are in your favor. But there was a lot of struggling in early on for MLS. And honestly, it looked bleak for a bit, right? When Miami lost to Monterrey and it was the Crew and there was 3 Liga MX teams left, it wasn't looking good. But like we talked about earlier, Columbus Crew ran the gauntlet, man. Tigres, Monterrey, and now Pachuca. I mean, what they've done is incredible.
Absolutely. And if they can get the job done tonight, like Fabian said, this team is definitely has to go down as one of the greatest MLS, teams of all time, just for the fact that they won not only the MLS Cup, but they've gone on. And like you just said, they ran the gauntlet of the top, Liga MX teams. Not only,
man,
what a great save by
Schulte, man.
There.
Yeah, Schulte has a great save.
Unbelievable, man. This is back and forth. This is gonna be fun.
This is good. This is not, the energy is high, man. This is like what I want. This is not some slow paced game. Like this is right out the gate.
Yeah, you can tell Fabian. Yeah, so Tu de N is playing it. Tu de N is and that's what I'm watching it on. Tu de N is basically Univision's kind of like their sports channel. I don't know if anybody else has it, but that's where I'm watching it.
I'm watching on FS1 right now.
All right. I'm more of a fan of the Spanish commentary over the English commentary. But I don't know who's on the call tonight. Who's on the call tonight on FS1?
Stu Holden and John Strong.
Okay, I like John. Stu sometimes has interesting takes, but he's not that bad. He's not that bad.
No. This is honestly, this is a lot better than a lot of the commentators on Apple TV. There's obviously some pretty bad, rough listens there. I don't mind John Strong and I mean Stu Holden's okay, but yeah, John Strong is one of the best there is. I actually pretty sad that he didn't come to MLS or Apple TV as well. He didn't make the transition over.
Hey, he wanted to call these games.
Do you guys think that if Wilfred Nancy wins this match, if he's able to prevail and Columbus Crew win this match, is he the MLS GOAT in coaches?
No, I don't. Me personally, I don't think so. I don't know what the chat thinks. I think he's definitely in the top, but I don't think you can say he's a GOAT because you've got coaches, like a Siggy Schmidt who's been, around the league, fantastic coach. Bruce Arena, although, the little scandal that he had now, just, previously, he's won championships with multiple franchises and he's coached around the league a lot. I think there's other coaches in the league that, that could go down, as a top coach. You got to look at Caleb Porter and we're only talking about coaches, in the last maybe 10, 15 years. You got to, if you're like a real MLS, MLS kind of brainiac, or you want to go back down to the diehards, you got to go look at older coaches from back in the day.
Yeah, I tell you what, obviously he's going to have to coach a little bit longer if he wants to get all the accolades that a Ziggy Schmidt or a Bruce Arena has. But to win the MLS Cup in your first season, qualify for a Champions Cup, and then possibly win it in his first chance to win Concacaf Champions Cup, I mean, I don't know if he'll be in MLS long enough to be able to be called the MLS GOAT, right? I mean, he'll probably end up making the move over to Europe at some point just because of how good he is.
Absolutely. For Europe, maybe a national team. You never know. I mean, nowadays,
wish he was our national team coach, man, instead of Berhalter.
You're not the only one, man. There's a lot of people that that don't like Berhalter. Oof, nice shot there. I personally, ooh. I'm not a fan of Berhalter either. I think he holds the team back rather than adds value. But let me tell you, man, I'm so looking forward to the Copa America. I so wish that the USA was playing Canada because I would love to see a Jesse Marsch versus a Greg Berhalter showdown. Especially the fact that they're not calling Jesse Marsch the Canadian coach. They're calling him the MLS Canadian coach or something like that, because the 3 MLS Canadian teams were the ones that put down the money for him to come coach, which That's nuts, man. How could a federation be bankrupt and be playing a major continental tournament?
It's sad too because they have so much potential. Obviously, they have a lot of talent. They have the only world class player in this federation on their team, in Alfonso Davies. We don't have a player that caliber. Now, granted, it is a left back who plays on the wing for them, but it is crazy how much talent they've been able to assemble and develop with limited resources, and that just shows how much. Ooh,
looks like they're going to get a chance here. Looks like they're going to get
if you
a
have,
nice little chance.
If you guys haven't already, make sure you like this video, share with your friends, comment if you have any questions or just comments about the match. How you guys feeling so far? I mean, I think this game is looking. I mean, it's fun. Like this has been a very energetic game right out of the gate, and there's been a lot of times where sometimes these games are very slow, especially when a Pachuca hasn't played a competitive match in almost 3 weeks. But so far both teams are looking very good out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, don't forget, we're going to be giving away a jersey at some point or at the end of the stream. I actually got it right here. So if you are a fan of Lionel Messi, I got it right here. We'll be giving this away at some point during the, at the end of the stream. We'll be giving this away right here. It's a Lionel Messi jersey, Inter Miami jersey. So it's right there. We'll be giving that away.
Make sure you stay tuned for that announcement on who wins the jersey. We'll pick one random commenter throughout the video at some point.
Absolutely.
Also,
I'm getting hungry, man. If anybody wants to let me know what the hell I should eat tonight, man, let me know, man. I'm down to order whatever. I know if I let Fabian choose, he's gonna say milanesa or something like that. But
Fabi, come in here, man. Go ahead and pop in.
I'm looking at that replay. Really nice shot by the Pachuca player, number 20. I don't know what number he was, but
number 10, I think.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Nice shot, man.
Schulte, man. He's good, man.
He is.
See, Manuel Araujo said he agrees with Favi Nazi for U.S. men's national team coach. Yep, I agree. Would be a huge upgrade over Greg Berhalter, especially with all the talent that we have and how Nazi has proven that he can get the most out of each player, regardless of what their talent limitations are. I think that he would give us the best chance of a realistic manager we could hire for the World Cup in 2026, the most important year in U.S. soccer history.
I agree. And just out of curiosity, since it's the most important year and essentially it's being hosted, 90% of the games in the United States, what would be an acceptable showing for, the U.S. men's national team, knowing the talent that they have on the roster? I don't want to say, because of Berhalter or not because, but I'm just saying, like, what do you think is acceptable?
Well, I think that Berhalter will not get us as far as our talent, as far as we could with the talent we have. I think he will honestly underperform. I think if we get, I think our talent would allow us to get to a round of 8. I think that's very possible, especially being home field advantage, right? And having the most talent this team has ever had. But he just kind of looks frantic. He doesn't really know how to adjust in big moments or like, Pachuca scores first, chip over Schulte.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a nice goal by Rondon right there.
Wow.
World-class player, man. A player who's played multiple important games for Venezuela. So I'm not surprised that that they got on the board first. Let's see how Columbus responds.
Bobby, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Not good. Pachuca just scored.
I know. And Miami had a goal, and it was offsides.
Really?
Was it?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at the VAR right now. Someone
got a goal. Did they count?
It's a goal, baby. 3-3. The Messi comeback is on. The Messi comeback is on.
Yeah,
3-3. Yep.
Wow.
I'm watching 2 games right now.
I'm watching 3.
Oh yeah, man, multitask. What do you,
Dude.
Fabi, what do you think though, for real? What do you think about this? Is this obviously it's not ideal. Pachuca gets on the board first, but like, is this a death knell? I mean, do you still feel confident Columbus's ability to come back and win?
I don't know, man, because there's no alcohol at this game being sold. I guess it's like a dry event, so it's gonna be tough. Maybe that helps, or maybe that doesn't. But yeah, a goal is not the start that Columbus want. But again, if it's any team that can come back, it's Columbus.
They've done that several times, right? I mean, Tigres looked like they were the Schulte miss kick where Gignac had scored the goal. I think early on when they were down 1-0. So I mean, this team has shown numerous times that they've been able to prevail. They obviously have a lot of talent. They're very well coached. I mean, I still think they have. I mean, there's.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Another one.
Yeah.
2-0.
Oh no.
Oh,
the wheels are falling off.
Yeah, that was a big mistake by the defense.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and there's the name I told you, Will. There's the name Idrisi. You gotta watch out.
Rondon, I haven't even put the game on yet. Jesus.
Oh my God, bro.
2-0 in 14 minutes. Wow, that could be.
Oh my God.
Could be done.
Jesus.
Shit, man.
Oof.
Hey, listen. We're gonna have some interesting people come in here and some Liga MX fans say some crazy shit here in a bit.
I love it.
Hey, I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool. Hey, listen, they deserve it. If this is a Columbus, this is a poor start. Columbus should be playing better than what they're playing right now.
Yeah, it's a big stadium, 60,000. It's a big moment. I get it.
Damn, I mean, wide open. Hey, if anyone want an example of MLS defending, you just watch right there. No marking, wide open right there. Wide open. Who's marking that guy? Who the hell's marking that guy?
Nobody, but they're also playing 3 in the back, and they're getting cooked right now.
Yeah.
They look good the first 10 minutes. They were they're moving back and forth, and then
wheels are falling off.
The counter, they can't do anything with the counter. All right,
is there a chance it was offside? He said that it's being checked.
Let's see. It could have been Rondon was offsides. On the front. Oh, there he's going to look at it. And Inter Miami is on the comeback. 89th minute. Man, this is an exciting night, man. Exciting. A lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Nah, he's on. He's on.
Is he?
On. Yeah. Yeah, I think Yeboah keeps him on.
Yeah, you're right.
On the view that they're giving us in the Tudane, Yeboah keeps him on.
We can't really see the pass though. This is kind of a bad picture.
A terrible picture.
I mean, you see him obviously. Yeah, Yeboah definitely has him on side, but we can't see where the pass is being made or.
Hey,
dude, this ref is sweating, man.
He is, man. He is. Hey, Fabian,
I think it's offside.
What's up with my buddy Luchi Rodriguez, man? Is he getting fired or what?
I don't know, man. The problem in San Jose is not Lucci. That's the honest truth. We're playing out there with not even USL 1 defenders or championship. They're USL 2 guys. So,
hey, Inter Miami has a guy that might fill in really good. His name's Sergei Kristov.
Hey, you know what?
Record Tam.
100 Tam will do it.
Hey, Favi's he's willing to give $1 million in GAM for Kristov and $2 million in GAM for Alan Pulido.
Let's do it.
He's ready to trade away all the resources for both of those MLS legends.
Look. Pulido, $2 million because everybody knows we're getting more GAM next year. So that's the truth.
Was that a foul?
Oh man. Oh my God.
Was that a foul?
I don't know. Did he call it? No, it looks like it still says 2-0. Inter Miami just missed a sitter.
I know. That's what I'm trying to look at.
Are they gonna call a foul on Rondon?
I think so. That definitely was a foul. I mean, look, he elbowed him, man, right in the back. That's definitely a foul.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna call it.
Yeah.
That's what the referee's looking at. Wow. That if they don't get that goal, that could change the game, and Columbus has to go on the attack.
I mean, can we be honest? Like, listen, I just want a good game. Okay, here we go. Here's the decision. Let's see.
He doesn't have to announce it though, so
no goal. No goal. There we go.
No goal.
I mean, that was a clear foul. Let's be honest. I mean, he elbowed the dude right in the back.
Now, I got a question for you. Is that more of a foul than what happened with Inter Miami and Fafa a couple weeks ago?
Look, Fafa.
Is that more of a foul than the foul? Is that more of a foul than the one called on Fafa?
Yeah.
I don't, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, my God, dude, that's crazy.
No, that was definitely a foul. I mean, and you know what? Kudos to the referee for having the testicular fortitude to make that kind of a call in a final, especially first for the VAR for calling him down on that, and second for the referee taking his time making the right decision. So credit the referee, and that's great. That's the whole point. The reason that VAR was invented, not for all the other garbage that they've been using it for.
Oh, man,
they got to do something, man. They got to do something.
Yeah. We need to see that. We need to see that same energy they came out of the gate with, man, where they were just like running on all cylinders. They're gonna have to probably score. They're gonna have to score at least 2 to win this, or 3 to win this game. I think, honestly.
I don't know, man. It could be 1-1. Could go to PKs. They've shown that they can do it against Tigres, but yeah, we'll see, man. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be an interesting game.
We need to see some more out of Diego Rossi.
Yeah, Pachuca is really pressing high.
Keem says he's smoking that Christopher Columbus pack. Hey, man, we all are tonight. Unless you're an FC Cincinnati fan.
Yeah, especially Fabian. He's wearing his favorite team's colors.
Yeah. Oh, Cucho.
Hey, man. Chill.
I saw the mate. Don't worry, man. It's all good. By the way, how was the yerba from the organic one?
Yeah, it was cool. It's like how like our yerba is different. Like it's more leaves, right?
Yeah.
It has a couple of sticks in it, or twigs, right? Like branches. But it's like smoky. So I don't know if you ever had mezcal compared it to tequila. So how tequila is kind of like light and then mezcal is smoky. That's kind of how the yerba was. It was.
Oh
all
man.
All right. Interesting. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know what Fabian and me are talking about, I don't know if you know about mate, Will, but if you guys don't know, you can check out on my Instagram at Danny Solana 5, and I've got a how to make a mate just like Messi and Suarez video. So it's on there for those of you that don't know what it is and are curious. Go check it out.
And you drink Canarias, though?
I drink Canarias, yeah. The yellow one, which is like the I guess.
You ever had the pink one?
I have. It's interesting. It's weird because you're thinking of a taste of a certain taste of mate, but that one actually has like fruity taste or whatever. So
that's the one that Argentina drinks. I think the Selección.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were. Messi was like, there was a picture of like a package that came in with a whole bunch of pink ones for Argentina during the World Cup.
I didn't see that. Oh man, the Inter Miami game finished 3-3, but
okay.
Messi's heated, bro. He was just yelling at the ref that he was telling him that he was really bad.
Really?
Yeah, he was saying muy malo, muy malo.
I think Alba technically got that third goal. I think
he did. Yeah, it was Alba's goal. Yeah.
I'm thinking that this. I mean, it looks like Columbus is starting to get in the game a little better.
Yeah, but they need to attack. They need to use Farsi a little bit more. I think for them to get in, they're gonna have to go off the wings, and they're gonna need to use Yabo and Farsi a little bit more.
I think they need at least one goal, man, before the half. Honestly, they need at least one goal. I mean, I'm not saying it's over. if they don't score a goal before the end of the half, but I think they really need one coming out of this half just to keep morale and momentum, or not just momentum, but keep morale high and the feeling that they can win this game. But if you watch every team that Nancy's coached, even going back to Montreal, one of the special things about him is he has the team always believing that they're in any game that they play, no matter if they're down or not, that they have the will and the drive and the belief that they can come back and win a game, which is kind of why they came back and they ended up beating Tigres.
Right.
Man, this people were talking about Pachuca obviously being a very hot team before they had lost to Club America in the quarterfinals. And I'm not saying that Pachuca is not a hot team or that they're not good, because they are a very well coached team and they're good. But I just still believe that the two teams Columbus had to beat to get to this point were better clubs all around than Pachuca in Tigres and Monterrey.
Yes, but Guillermo Almada is such a good coach that I would never count one of his teams out. And so far it looks like he's got his team prepared and ready to go, because it looks like in the first 23 minutes they've made the most noise here as they keep banging on the door.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling in the comment section? How are you guys feeling about this match so far? Do you think Columbus is still in a good spot, or do you think that the CONCACAF curse is going to haunt another MLS club? I mean, there's so many heartbreaking losses that MLS teams have had. You go back to 2017 or 2018 when Toronto lost to Chivas in the Concacaf Champions Cup Final. You have when LAFC lost to Tigres in 2020, and then obviously they lost to Lyon in 2023. And even going back to, I think it was 2015 when Montreal had lost to, I want to say it was Club America, who they lost in the final to, which was crazy because they had their goalkeeper. I don't know if you know this, Daniel, but the goalkeeper for Montreal, I think he got hurt. And they were talking about loaning Montreal a goalkeeper for that match, like another MLS club, so they would have a good goalkeeper to win. They were talking about like Andre Blake at the time. And everybody was like saying, man, you can't do that.
I do remember that.
Yeah. They're like, you can't do that, man. That'd be cheating. You can't loan a goalkeeper from another team to win. I guess that's what that single entity plays into their advantage, right?
Yeah, it was something that Montreal was a real big underdog though. So
yeah,
I don't know if it that was a heartbreaking one though, because that run by Montreal was insane. I do remember that.
That's when they had Nacho Piatti on the team, right?
Nacho Piatti, and then Laurent Simon was his first season with them, and I think he ended up winning MLS goalkeeper or MLS Defender of the Year that season. So they had some pieces, right? They weren't obviously the best team to play in this tournament, but Montreal was very good that year, and they were so close to winning. Maybe if they'd had their goalkeeper, they would have done a little better. But let's be honest, there's several MLS teams that should have won this tournament that choked. That Toronto team with Jovinko, they should have beat Chivas. And LAFC should have beat Tigres, and LAFC, or at least one of the two, right?
Leon.
Yeah, well, they should have beat Tigres in 2020.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, they should have beat them in 2020. But Favi in 2018 when Toronto lost to Chivas, they lost to your boy, man,
Matias.
Yeah.
I guess, he was a GOAT, so I get it.
Hey, he is, man. He is. He was the GOAT. Him and Diego Alonso, former Inter Miami Uruguayan coach, they're the CONCACAF. They're like the Ancelottis, right? They don't win the titles in the league very often, but they win the Champions League.
Hey, man. Diego Alonso, I love hate.
Got history with him, man.
I don't know about you, Daniel.
Yeah, I got a love-hate relationship with him. So I'll tell you this, man. My theory on him is I don't think he was given a fair shot at Inter Miami. I think he had some responsibility for Uruguay's resurgence and going into, to get to the World Cup. And then I blame the entire World Cup on him. I think, he was just, I don't know, maybe he just went to Qatar just to, like how we say in Uruguay, pasear, just to, look at the sights and stuff. But he didn't know what he was doing. He was just out-coached every game.
No, you know what bothers me about Uruguay, and it's different with Bielsa this time, and we're gonna see it, but they're always playing to just beat them by a little bit. They're always playing with the numbers. Like they had the talent in Qatar to win by 3 goals against teams like South Korea, but they just wanted to go with just let's win by 1. Let's, Portugal's not gonna lose, and that bothers me. It's every time.
It is. We were talking about earlier, Will and I about, or at least I mentioned it, and Will agreed. But I think it would be interesting to see a USA Canada match now that Marsh is the MLS Canadian coach or whatever they want to call him, and and Greg Berhalter is still the coach. I mean, call me crazy, but I think Canada would beat the US.
Oof. I kind of, I kind of want the US to kind of just lose this one pretty bad.
Get smoked?
Yeah. Lose to Bolivia, then everything goes up in flames. First game.
And the sacrifices we make for the long-term gain, man.
Well, he's unmarked.
Yeah. Hey, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this the live stream. Share with a friend. Comment if you have any questions, man. Comment if you have any questions about the game or how you guys are enjoying it so far, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
If I retweet, do I get an extra? If I retweet the link on my Twitter, do I get an extra entry
chance of winning the jersey?
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe you have to talk to the man.
Will you write that down?
Absolutely, bro. We got you.
Hey, Danny, show that jersey one more time. We're doing a jersey giveaway at some point in the stream.
It's got the tag.
It's a random commenter. It's a Messi Inter Miami famous pink jersey with the Royal Caribbean patch on the front.
Yep.
Look at that, man. Looks good.
Does it come with the cruise?
Yeah. It does not, man. It does not. It does not. No.
No Bahama cruise.
Nah, it comes with 1 free beer at Chase Stadium if you ever make the trip down to Miami. Or I guess Fort Lauderdale, it'll come with 1 free beer. So I'll invite you to a beer.
Yay!
Oh, I'm gonna have to do that at some point, man. Make the journey down to Fort Lauderdale.
Absolutely, man.
You know what? I actually liked Fort Lauderdale a lot. I wasn't expecting it, but I actually liked Fort Lauderdale as a city. I thought it was a perfect size.
Yeah, man. Florida's nice. I mean, most cities in Florida are, any city close to the beach is pretty nice. Let's see what we got.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean,
DeMar Murray. We got a question from DeMar Murray. He says, thoughts on Europe adding a salary cap in the near future. Madrid is going to be an insane team in the next couple of years.
I mean, everybody knows my opinion on this. I'm against salary caps altogether. I think if the owners have money, then allow them to spend it. It's their money. If they want to win, that's on them. And if the other owners don't want to spend their money,
oh my God,
that's on them too.
I'm behind.
Man.
I'm behind.
Oh man,
I was like 2 seconds behind you, but I saw that. Hey, nice little crew of Columbus Crew fans there. Yeah, like it.
Bernadeschi got another red card.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so close. To DeMar's question though, I think that
Jeez, I'm way behind.
Oh,
what a goal. What a goal. That could be the heartbreaker right there.
What minute are you guys in?
31 minutes, 22 seconds.
Jesus, I'm 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, you need to catch up, man.
Hey, I'm pirating right now. What do you think? What do you expect? How is this game on cable? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's on FS1. You don't have FS1?
That's cable.
No, but that's cable.
Well, YouTube TV. I thought you had YouTube TV.
No, I don't have YouTube TV. I have Apple TV.
Man, that's a dagger. That's a dagger, man. 2-0. You can't go down 2-0. God, that was a beautiful goal, though, man. In the 99 kit, too. The disrespect. Oh, Schulte's got to save that, right?
Yeah, that's on Schulte.
That's a Drake Callender save.
So Drake Callender actually had one where he screwed up on the near post today too. He let one of the goals in on the near post, but yeah, he's got to save. I mean, as a forward, they teach you if you're gonna shoot near post, you got to go, top shelf. And if you're going to go far post, you got to go, bottom far post. So, I mean, great shot by Rodriguez there. That left-footed banger, man. Wow.
But back to DeMar's question, I think that the salary cap is definitely going to make things more interesting. Some of the bigger spending teams like a Man City, they're going to have to. Oh, so close, Pachuca. They're going to obviously have to be more selective about how they spend their money, and it's going to help level the playing field a little bit. I'm not necessarily against the salary cap, but like for MLS, they need to, increase it significantly. But like in the Premier League, it's going to be insane. It's going to be like probably like an NFL level salary cap. So it shouldn't affect it too much. I'm just curious to see how they do the transfer fees, how that plays into the salary cap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a fan of the salary cap altogether. I think it's a way to I guess I bring parity to a league. And to me, if I'm an owner and I got money to spend and I can spend and bring, the top 10 players, then why should I be penalized because the rest of the owners want to be cheap? That's the way I look at it. And that's the way I feel like a lot of the owners in the MLS, are acting today, especially with, all the hate on Inter Miami. I think what Mas and team have done is basically, put one of the blueprints together on how to put a global franchise together. Might not work everywhere, but at least in the bigger, cities it will.
Oh, man. Oh, come on.
Oh, man. I told you, Farsi.
Oh, man. They got to capitalize. They have to capitalize on these opportunities. Need Cucho to do a little more. We need Diego Rossi, man. He needs to step up. We need to see him more active. We need to see him, get more involved in the final third and create
Look,
some
I don't want to
chances.
sound crazy. I don't want to sound crazy to you, but had he played for Nacional in Uruguay, I think he would have been a little bit better.
Yeah. Think so. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey,
get some people riled up.
All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go for a little bit.
Fabi, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by.
It was a pleasure to stay on. I might be on a little later too before I head out for the night, but
yeah, link's open, man. Link's open.
All right, take
care. Appreciate it, brother.
Of course.
All right, see you, buddy.
Let's see. We got looks like there's a little bit of an argument. We got a dude, Lewis. If that's a Saudi league keeper, you'd be drooling. MLS is embarrassing. I mean, it's not a secret that MLS defending isn't very good. I mean, did you not see the whole sequence we talked about earlier with Orlando City and the Chicago Fire?
Yeah.
Let's see. Jonathan Hernandez says MLS teams still can't perform well in the third world environments. I guess so, man. I don't know, man. They did pretty good with the Tigres and Monterrey. They smoked Monterrey at home. So I don't know if that's necessarily the issue. They've proven that they can win big games. I just think they're just playing like shit right now, honestly. Let's see, Chris. Major difference when MLS clubs do not play their home. I mean, they've proven that they can win on the road. Like I said, they beat Tigres at Tigres. They beat Monterrey at Monterrey. They can win on the road. They've proven this is like one of the teams that has proven that they can win on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that has, maybe it has something to do with it for other teams, but like you said, it will. I mean, they beat Tigres, they beat Monterrey, two of the top, Liga MX teams. Now, does it make a little bit of a difference, when you have to play away? Absolutely. But I think that's one of the bigger arguments for those that, are, talk about the Leagues Cup and watch the Leagues Cup is, all the games are in the United States and that it's not really fair for the Liga MX teams. Now, you kind of get the opposite and you're seeing some of the teams struggle, except for Columbus. Columbus was the only team that didn't struggle.
Let's see. Little Danny says wage gaps and they can't defend. I mean, yeah, that's true. Like Liga MX has no restrictions with spending. They can spend whatever they want on any player. They can spend $12 million on a left back if they want to. MLS clubs aren't going to do that. There's definitely an advantage, but I don't want to use that as an excuse because MLS has shown that they can compete with Liga MX, especially in the last couple of years. So I don't even want to really use the wage gap or the spending as an excuse anymore because they've shown that they can compete with these teams. Let's see, David Day, LAFC would still have Diego Rossi and Chicho Arango if MLS teams allowed or could spend whatever they wanted. Yeah, I mean, that's true. They probably would still have both players or at least one of the two, but that's just unfortunately not how the rules work. And they had to make the tough decisions and they had to let some guys go and replace them. But I mean, LAFC's fine. I mean, they're still doing well. Let's see.
Look, I mean, I think folks are trying to compare the Saudi league and the MLS and all these other leagues, but the reality is, all the leagues are completely different. Look at the Saudi league. The Saudi league doesn't have a salary cap. You can spend on whatever they want, on players, but nobody goes to watch the games over there. And there's only really 2 or 3 good teams. You have Al Ittihad, which is where Benzema played. You've got Al Nazir, which is where Ronaldo was playing. And then you've got Al Hilal, which is where Neymar was playing. Those are the top 3 teams. Nobody else goes to watch anybody else. Now, in the MLS, I think also the MLS is very top heavy in terms of there's a small amount of good teams and a large amount of okay teams. Whereas in the Saudi league, you have 3 good teams and everybody else is just garbage. So I think some MLS teams could compete in Liga MX, where I would say, 90% of the teams from the Saudi league wouldn't compete in Liga MX, not even close, and I think that's the difference between MLS and the Saudi league. So,
and also too, I don't think the Saudi's obviously buying some very high level players, but if you look at the domestic Saudi player versus the domestic MLS player, there's not even a comparison. Saudi is way behind the average. Their average Saudi player, homegrown player, is not anywhere close to the MLS homegrown player. All their talent, is international. All their talent is foreign. I mean, who even is the best player in the Saudi league that is actually Saudi? I don't know who it is. I can't tell you who it is. Every one of their good players are internationals.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, there's obviously some good teams in the Saudi league, but there's obviously some good teams in the Saudi league, but MLS has more potential. And, anyone who doesn't believe that is just hating. I mean, it's true. Why do you think Messi turned down the money to come to MLS? Or, that Saudi was offering him. They were offering him a king's ransom. And he said, "No, I'm good, man. I'm good."
I think it was $2 billion what they offered.
Yeah, $2 billion. Yeah, and he said, "No, I'm good. I'd rather go to Miami. $50 million a year."
Of course. I mean, for some players, it's not just about the money. For others, it is. And I think with the amount of players that didn't even end up getting paid, I think you're going to see, the MLS profit off of that a lot. And we talked about it earlier on the stream for those of you that are just joining in. But, the MLS is and Will has been doing, the research and all the backup to this, but the MLS is prepared to have a record transfer summer window where some crazy names that you would have never thought were going to come here are going to come here. That just goes to show you that players prefer to come over here, even though the money might be a little bit lower. Imagine if there was no salary cap and, teams could spend whatever they want. I think that the MLS could be one of the top leagues in the world because they have the facilities, they have the money exists in the United States, right, Will? It's just they in American sports they love parity. It's just
they have the culture, the lifestyle. Obviously their families want to come over here at some point. How many retired players end up making the move over to the US? At least at some capacity, right? Maybe not permanently, but come over here and stay several months a year. and want to be here with their families. So, yeah, I mean, MLS has an insane amount of potential. If there was no salary cap in MLS, Inter Miami would probably be a top 20 club in the world. Jorge Mas has shown that he has there's no reservations of what he's willing to spend on this club. They would have a legitimate top 20 club in the world, not in MLS, not in North and South America, in the world. They would be a top 20 club in the world.
And I don't think they'd be the only ones, because I think
No.
LAFC has also shown that they're willing to spend. They brought Carlos Vela, who was not cheap. They've spent money and brought Diego Rossi. They had a couple other players as well, that like they had Chicho and a few other guys. So LA Galaxy is another team who, if they were allowed to spend, they would spend, man. They brought Chicharito, they brought Zlatan. So unfortunately, they're only able to bring one or two of those players because of the salary cap rules. But if they were able to bring those guys and bring 4 or 5 other guys with them, then maybe it would have gone differently. What I would say is, and maybe you agree with me here, and maybe those in the chat, might agree, but we're talking about San Diego and how they're going to sign, possibly De Bruyne, and they're going to possibly sign Ramos. But wouldn't it make sense to go out and get, one of the top stars for the Mexican national team, and then maybe go out and sign a bunch of young, talented Mexican players to come play there, because it would fill up the stadium. You would sell, jerseys, and that should be the focus, instead of going out and getting, an old Spanish player who has zero connection to San Diego, other than the fact that he played for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? Like, people know him because he played for Real Madrid.
Oh,
man,
I mean, it just looks like Columbus is out of it, man.
I don't think so, man. I think they still are getting there. They're still getting to the goal. They're just not, they're not being able to get their chances in. I think they have a chance in the second half.
Let's see who we got. Fuzzy Sweater says, I would still prefer seeing better and higher echelon teams than just a bunch of teams that play similarly. I mean, yeah, I agree. I would like to see the quality increase for some higher end teams, like one of the comparisons I like to use is maybe MLS kind of transition into more like Eredivisie, where you have MLS is a little different because instead of having 18 clubs, they have 29, about to be 30 next year, but maybe 5 to 6 or maybe even 7 high-level clubs. And that would make the league better inherently, I think, because they're playing against some of the best competition and higher-end players. That's what I'm hoping, that we get to that level in the next, 5 or 6 years, to have like an Ajax, a Feyenoord, or a PSV level club in MLS.
It's going to be tough with all the rules, but if clubs use the rules to their advantage and they are able to sign the right, U22 designated players, they're able to sign, bring up their homegrowns the right way, and then pair them with the right, 1 or 2 stars, whether they come from Europe or South America, or really anywhere at this point. I think it is possible, but all the chips need to kind of fall in your way for that to happen.
Ooh, yellow card.
Yellow card, yep. Yellow card for Idrissi. And he keeps going, huh? And he keeps going. Doesn't look like the referee's happy with him, man. He's got to watch out.
Still going, man. Let's see what else we got.
It was an interesting comment there talking about Libertadores. It says this is why Libertadores should expand for Liga MX and top 4 teams in MLS. So, for those of you that don't know, Liga MX was part of Libertadores for many, many years, and then they were removed. But I do agree. I think it would be fantastic for a few of the top Liga MX teams and a few of the top MLS teams to be able to compete against the top South American teams. I just I think the Mexican teams would compete. I just don't think the MLS teams would. I mean, I don't see MLS going, into Brazil and beating Palmeiras.
Not right now, not with the way the team's constructed. But if we're being honest, if we ever want to compete with UEFA Champions teams, we're going to have to eventually get to some point where we're merging with South America for a Champions League. Have Liga MX.
Ooh, no foul. Oof.
Yellow card. Is that for who is that for?
Yeah, it looks like it's for. Can't tell the number, but to me, it's gonna go to
Farfan, I think. Yeah. No, it's Maria. Okay, never mind. It's Maria.
Yeah, Morera. I think it's gonna go to VAR. To me, it looked like it could have been a red card
for Morera.
Yeah,
you think he denied a clear goal opportunity or goal scoring opportunity?
That's what I think. Yeah,
man. If they do, dude, it's over.
Oh, if they go down to 10 men, it's done.
It's over. It's cooked. But back to the question about Copa Libertadores and Liga MX and MLS clubs. We need both the Primera Division, the Argentine League, the Brazilian League, Liga MX, and MLS to eventually join up, man, and have a Champions League together. And I think that's what's going to end up giving us the best product and the best chance of ever trying to catch UEFA, because we need as many good leagues to form. I mean, the Costa Rican League, the Honduran League, that's not going to cut it long term. We need to have the best South American clubs and the best North American clubs playing a Champions League every year. And I think with the travel that each club has now, most teams have private jets. They can make the travel work. Obviously, Liga MX was playing in Copa Libertadores for many years, up until the last 6 or 7 years. So they've already been doing it, and I think MLS could do it as well. And it would be how much money would that make? That would make insane money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I know Nacional, who started in the, I believe, second stage of the Libertadores, has already made $7 million just by qualifying into the knockout stages. So it's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money that goes into the team's pocket. And I'm looking at the replay here, man. And I don't know, man. To me, it looks like a red.
I mean, the ball wasn't even close to the ball.
No, he literally just takes him down.
If they're lucky, they'll get a yellow. If they're lucky. He was. Oh my God, man.
Now they might get lucky and they might get number 6 on a foul on Farsi.
4, yeah, there. Maybe
right there. They might.
Here we go. Him. We got a decision here.
Let's see what he does.
Oh shit! So foul against Pachuca.
Yeah, foul against Pachuca.
Damn. So that's lucky. That's a break for Columbus. If that was a red card, they would have been in trouble.
And no yellow.
They would have been in trouble. They have to, not getting a goal in the first half. I think this is bad. This is probably a worst case. This is a worst case scenario for Columbus in this match through the first half. This is a worst case scenario. Being down 2-0 at Pachuca. I mean, they definitely could get back in this game, but this is honestly like a nightmare start. And think if it wasn't for VAR, they could be down 3-0 right now, and a red card, a player got sent off.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm curious. Lewis there says that's never a red. I'm curious to know why that never would be a red to me. Without the foul on I think the referee made the right call because there was a foul on the Columbus player. But if not, I mean, Morera literally takes him out. So I don't understand why that's never a red.
And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like the live stream. It helps with the algorithm. We're trying to get as many people in here, Columbus crew, Liga MX fans, whoever loves soccer. We're trying to get as many people in here as possible. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And give us your comments. How do you think that first half went? I mean, that was, like I just told Daniel, that was probably the worst case scenario for the Columbus crew this first half that you could have possibly imagined.
Absolutely, especially after everything that happened. They had a couple chances in the first 10 minutes with Diego Rossi having a chance and Cucho having a chance. And then unlucky, you get that, that bad touch in the back, and you get Rondon with that beautiful goal. And then, they get that other beautiful, beautiful goal by number 99, who I thought Schulte should have saved it. So yeah, I agree. With everything that could have gone wrong, with the red card that could have been, I think they escaped with a 2-0, just at a disadvantage.
I'm wondering if I asked this question a couple of days ago. I'm wondering if this is actually better for MLS long term to lose this match. And the reason I say that is because this will take the owners back to the drawing board where they're like, hey, why did we just get embarrassed in the Champions Cup or the Concacaf Champions Cup final again, right? What do we need to do to make sure we're winning these? We keep getting so close. This is the 4th or 5th final in the last 7 years that they've been in. Why can't we win these more consistently? And maybe that will be the wake-up call that, hey, we need to start spending more. We do need to start spending more. If we spent like we could, this wouldn't even be close.
I completely
That's
agree.
what they need to do.
Completely agree.
Hey, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. Will you read some comments and maybe answer a couple questions?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Right
I
back.
got it up here, man. I got it up here. So, just to read a couple comments, I see Rohan says he's just here for Solana. He can't care about Columbus or a Mexican team. Appreciate it. CS responding to Chris, Concacaf would never let the best teams go to Libertadores. They need them in the Concacaf Champions League. Obviously, we would be talking about, having some, if there's not a Concacaf Champions League or something like that. What's up, Florida man? How's it going? CS talking about was always like the 5th or 6th Mexico teams that go. I don't think it was their 5th or 6th, but it was definitely, not the top, but, it was still some good players, or some good teams. I remember, Chivas was in it a couple times. So hey, Florida man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me know that the Panthers are up 1-0. I took them. I took them for the win today on betting them. So we'll see. Wayne says that the League Cup is just so random. Plus, all the games are just played in the USA. They should have it played in Mexico and see how MLS does. Look, Wayne, I think we all agree. We all agree that I wouldn't say it's a random cup. I would just say it was an opportunity for Liga MX and for MLS to make some extra cash, to get some more interesting games on the schedule. Because look, who doesn't like a little bit of break in, the dull MLS schedule? Especially in the chat, everybody's talking, about how terrible some of the MLS teams and all that are. So I think it's fantastic that they're challenging themselves. Now, does it suck that it just gets played in the US? Absolutely. I think Will would agree with me. It does suck. I would love to see, Inter Miami go play in some of these Mexican cities. I would love to see, New York, NYCFC go play in Chivas, at Chivas, or, some of these other teams go play, in, Sinaloa, or, some of these other teams. So it would be awesome to see them play. But the reality is, the money is in the United States, and they sell out stadiums,
True.
man. They sell them out. If, all those Houston games, all those Dallas games, they're sold out when they play Liga MX teams. Same thing on the West Coast. I mean, it's the same thing. They're slammed. But I agree with Chris. FC Juarez versus New England Revolution in, at Juarez Stadium, that would be badass, man. That would be awesome. I would love to see Caleb Porter manage down there. It's awesome.
If he's safe, man, if he's safe. But the important thing is that there are a lot of Liga MX fans in the United States because of how many Mexican Americans there are in this country. And I just don't know if there's enough people that cares about certain clubs in Mexico, or care about MLS clubs in Mexico. Now, Inter Miami is a different story because of Leo Messi, right? Obviously, there's going to be several people that want to come watch that match. When they played Monterrey, the stadium was packed to watch that match. And I just wish it was the main point of why I wish there were some games played uh, in Mexico for Leagues Cup is just to make it fair. Some of these clubs and what they had to do travel wise, it wasn't right. I mean, some guys were having to sleep in the damn airport. One club I think flew 20,000 miles throughout the whole tournament. I mean, that's just brutal. And then not being able to see your family for 1 month. I mean, I don't know how some of you guys in the chat would feel, man, but that would suck to not be able to see your family for over a month and then have to constantly live in, different hotels and out of a luggage case. Like that would suck so bad. And you have to think that would affect the mental state of some of these players and how they're performing because they're like, damn, I'm just ready to go home, man. I don't want to play in this shit anymore. I don't want to play in this tournament. I want to go home and be with my family and just get back to normal life. But they did look like they've corrected course. They're changing a couple rules. I think they're going to give certain Liga MX teams, especially if they're good, a home stadium to where they don't have to move as much in the U.S. so that they don't have to constantly go back and forth to the airport and also try to keep the Liga MX club in close proximity to what MLS stadium they're playing in. So, look, I agree. I would like it to be more fair. I'd like to see more Liga MX or Leagues Cup games played, or at least like neutral sites. I mean, it's Inter Miami. Wasn't every match they played on essentially almost at home?
Yeah, I mean, almost was, definitely the first 3 games were at home because they were the home team. Same thing this time. They get 2 Liga MX teams and they'll play both games at home. Now, the games would still be sold out, even if they weren't Liga MX games or teams because of the players, right? But you look at the DC United, you look at and look, the games are going to be full regardless because there are a lot of Mexican League fans that live in all of these cities, and we saw it last year, man. We saw it last year, so and yeah, just like you're saying there, man, guys, if you're watching us, we appreciate you, staying on with us. We're at the 1 hour and almost 27-minute mark. So Will and I are grinding it out here, trying to give you guys some good coverage, a place to kind of let your feelings out about what's going on and comment. So, don't forget to like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Will's channel. Awesome stuff. Not only on MLS but also on Liga MX, and give us like a retweet or something so we can get as many people on the stream as possible and get some more fights between some of you folks in the comments. They're interesting.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys watching. We're at 40 live viewers right now, which is incredible. That's just amazing, honestly. We've been having a blast. An hour and 30 minutes with you guys has seemed like 5 minutes because of how much fun this has been. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this so far. We still have a full half to play. And just to let you know, me and Danny are also going to be live streaming a couple Leagues Cup matches. Even if you guys are upset about the format, I'm sure we're all going to be watching, because even if it wasn't ideal for some of the teams last year, it was fun as hell to watch. And it's going to be fun as hell with all the teams signing some of these players that we've been talking about this summer. So we're going to be able to see all these big names like we saw with Messi last summer come and play, and it's going to be fun. We're going to do some live streams for some of those games as well. So yeah, man, it's been fun. I'm really, really enjoying this. Let's see what we got.
I like this comment from Daumo. He's talking about how the Mexican national team sucks, but it's still interesting how Liga MX still beats the MLS. I'm going to tell you why that's possible, or why that happens. And it's I've spoken to a very well-known former Mexican player, Pavel Pardo. Had a chat with him, about 6-7 months ago, and the main reason why the Mexican national team is where it is because a lot of their players in the past were going to play in Europe. you look back in the day and at some of those better Mexican teams, and they had a lot of players that were, going overseas to play in Europe. And now a lot of the players prefer to stay at home because they're making the same amount of money in Mexico, maybe even more so at some points than they would in Europe, and they're basically getting able the playing time and all that they wouldn't get. They'd probably be on the bench and in a Man City or something like that, and in Mexico they get to play. So they're not developing players like how they used to. So that's why the Mexican national team is where it is today, that's why you see the U.S. kind of moving forward, because the U.S. men's national team has most of their players playing overseas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I had said earlier about a club spending $15 million on a left back, teams in Europe are not going to spend that on a Mexican left back if he's not worth the value. Whereas a team like Chivas, obviously they only have Mexican internationals or domestic players on their team, long tradition, right? They're willing to overpay for a left back, a Mexican left back, because that's all they can sign is Mexican internationals or Mexican, Mexican players. So that's another thing. Their Liga MX has priced themselves out of talent or people being able to buy players. Like it's very rare how often we see these players make the move over to Europe. And the golden era where you had Guardado, you had Mimo Ochoa, Chicharito, Carlos Vela, Giovanni Dos Santos, like they were all playing in Europe. That's why those teams were so damn good. Rafa Marquez, that's what they got to get back to. They have to get back to selling and letting their best players move to Europe like MLS has done and, the U.S. men's national team's best players have done recently.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Horacio, a friend of the show. He said, let's go. Horacio, appreciate you stopping by, man. He was a winner of one of our jersey contests. I want to say it was the 2K giveaway for the jersey contest.
Nice.
Tobar says boycott Leagues Cup. I mean, I don't know if that's really going to do anything because people are going to watch it. I don't think anybody's going to boycott it enough to where it's going to make a difference. Let's see. RD Revolver, Liga MX is better than MLS for about every reason. I mean, they are better, especially historically, but the Columbus Crew on paper should be competing with Pachuca right now. Pachuca isn't way better than Columbus Crew talent-wise. It's pretty damn close, honestly. And that's why this is an embarrassing first half performance because of how much better Columbus should be performing, right? Cucho Hernandez and Diego Rossi have got to do more in the second half. They got to create more chances. They got to be playing with a little more fire and capitalize on some of these opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's as disappointing as maybe as you're, kind of making it out to be. Obviously down 2-0 in a final is rough. But having Rossi, having Cucho, I think it's a possibility for them to come back. Anything can happen in a final. That's the crazy thing. We saw in the World Cup final, France come back. How many times did they come back? 3 times, twice. They were down 2-0 and then they came back and then down 3-2 and then they tied. And so anything can happen in these types of games. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the Columbus Crew locker room, hearing what Wilfred Nancy is saying to his team right now to get them hyped for the second half. But just as, I'd love to be in that Pachuca locker room listening to what Almada is telling his team as well, to see if he's telling them to sit back or continue attacking. So I don't know. The second half is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. It is going to be interesting. We'll see. I mean, if there's any team that can do it outside of Inter Miami, right? Because Inter Miami definitely is a club that starts off slow in the first half and then just explode, or they can explode in the second half, and they've done that several times. I think that Columbus is one of the only teams that could come back from this deficit. It'd be interesting to see. They're down 2-0. I'm curious when Christian Ramirez, the super sub off the bench, will make his appearance for Columbus to try to get a little bit of goal scoring opportunities. Try to get, have someone who might be able to pull one back for him. Second half's about to start. Let's see what other comments we have. Anthony Booker says MLS also really needs to attract better coaches. That's another issue. I agree 100%, man. There are so many bad managers in Major League Soccer that don't have any business being even being an assistant coach, let alone the main guy. So I agree. The coaching has to get better. You look at Wilfred Nancy, kind of like what we talked about earlier, and he was able to get out a lot of production from his Montreal side. Which is why he was heralded as a manager, ended up getting the Columbus Crew job. So yeah, you have to have better coaching. MLS is lagging behind significantly in coaching. I would say more than the players, Liga MX is destroying MLS on the coaching side. That is a huge gap. The coaching overall in Liga MX is way better in most leagues in total than it is in MLS.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm looking at a list of all the current coaches in the MLS today. And there's not a lot of coaches that I would say here are peer teachers of the game. A lot of names, not a lot of teachers. And I'm including Tata Martino in that. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he is a great manager of egos, and he's a player's coach. I don't think he's a great tactician or anything like that. Someone like Jim Curtin, I think is a good coach. I really like the Vancouver Whitecaps coach. I like Vanni Sartini a lot. I don't know how you feel about him.
He's good. He's a perfect example of a coach getting the most out of his players with limited resources.
Absolutely. I mean, I think obviously Brian Schmetzer, he's been at Seattle for 7 years now, and he had a great run as a coach at Seattle. But I think his time there might be done. Sometimes a coach's tenure comes to an end. It happened last year with Giovanni Savarese over at Portland. You see him being replaced by former Inter Miami coach Phil Neville, and he's not having a good year over there either. So great point by the list, by the commenter right there saying that they need to get better coaches. I agree, man. I 100% agree. It starts with that.
Yeah, and also too, some of these guys just have way too long of leashes. I mean, Peter Vermees hasn't won an MLS Cup since 2013 with Sporting Kansas City, and he did qualify for the playoffs in 2022, which I believe in a league where more than half the teams qualify for the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs, that's a non-starter. That's an automatic firing, in my opinion. If you don't make the playoffs and you've been with the club that long, a lot of this reflects on you. This isn't a deal where a guy takes over from a team that's been abysmal and he just needs another year to really get things in order. This man has essentially been Sporting Kansas City. He is Sporting Kansas City, and they're currently one of the worst teams in the league. And I think it's time to move on instead of holding on to these managers who have been in MLS 1.0, MLS 2.0, MLS 3.0. He's like a dinosaur, man. Like we need to be hiring more or coaches that can evolve with the game and grow it. Not guys who are just kind of like, they like have an allegiance to him, like blind loyalty. They're like scared to fire him. They could do better than Peter Vermees. And sometimes a new voice, a breath of fresh air, can do a lot for a club, even with the same players.
100%. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. He's the longest tenured coach in the MLS. He's been, with Kansas City for 14 years now. The next, longest tenured coach is Jim Curtin with Philly. He's been there almost 10 years. And then after that, it falls down to 4 years. So, those two are the dinosaurs. And it's kind of crazy with how good Jim Curtin's been, over his 9 years with Philly, that he hasn't gotten a chance at another club.
Ooh.
So, somewhere else. Oof, man. Columbus just getting lucky again.
Yeah. We got our friend of the show, Nick at Voices of Black and Gold. Great job, guys. Columbus is shit. Yeah. It's not been an ideal start, man. It's not been an ideal start. Hopefully they can turn around, man. I mean, they're not playing like they normally play. This has been a embarrassing performance. Tobar says MLS allows for way too much mediocrity in every aspect. I agree, man. Like I said, these coaches that haven't done anything, it's like if you win an MLS Cup for a team, it's like they have blind loyalty to you. They're afraid to fire you. I mean, even the Seattle Sounders, right? Obviously, Brian Schmetzer has had a lot of success with the club, winning 2 MLS Cups, appearing in 4, and winning the first Concacaf Champions Cup for the team. But they didn't qualify for the playoffs in that team that they made the cup. They won the Champions Cup or the Champions Final, and they looked better last year. And then this year they made a club. Well, it wasn't a club record, but it was up there. It's like a top 3 club record fee or transfer fee in Pedro de la Vega. And they just kept getting bit by the injury bug, and they kept getting hurt, and they look terrible. They're inconsistent. They can't score. So I think even the greatest coaches can wear out their welcome, and it's time to move on. Sometimes you need a new voice. Now, I'm not saying after maybe winning or losing 3 games in a row, you should fire a guy like some clubs in Europe, right, where they just don't have any patience at all. But damn, I mean, if you're not making the playoffs, when 18 teams make the playoffs, then that is on you. Like, there is no excuse why you cannot make the playoffs. Now, Tata Martino didn't make it last year because he took over halfway through the season. The damage had already been done. And they didn't get Messi and Busquets and all these players until the summer. Now, if Tata Martino was the manager all season, and that was the total points that they had with the players they had, his ass would be gone. He wouldn't be the manager right now. But you see what the difference is this season when they have all their reinforcements, and he got to start off with the club. So, yeah, I mean, some of these teams just give way too much of a leash, man.
I agree, but I do also agree with Anthony, and with Tobar, them talking about Tata. I don't think Tata's a great coach. And we've seen it over the last few months with Inter Miami, him having a tough time trying to find a formation, whether he plays 4-3-3, whether he plays 5-3-2, 3-5-2. Man, Columbus is just breathing all the luck that they can right now, because Pachuca is just not. I mean, one more goal and it's done. But yeah, I mean, going back to Tata comments, look, I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good manager of egos. He went to Barcelona and he couldn't win at Barcelona with the team that he had. That goes to show that maybe he's not. Oof, man, that number 99, he's got a great shot. But yeah, I don't think he's a great coach.
I think he was the perfect opportunity because of him. First of all, he's coached Messi twice for Barca and the Argentine national team, so they have a relationship. Whether they're best friends, that's to be determined, right? We don't know what their actual relationship is of like friendship, but they respect each other.
Correct.
And also, Tata Martino has a record of winning an MLS. He won an MLS Cup with Atlanta United in his second season and built that team out to be a successful club. So he just checked all the boxes of like what you would want in a coach for Inter Miami. He was literally the perfect hire for everything that this club needed and stability. And so that's why I still think he's good enough for MLS, just because he might not be a great manager on the global scale, but in MLS, he's world-class because of how bad other managers are in this league and in totality, right? There are a lot of managers that have, like I said, have no business being in charge of a club.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that I would put him in the world-class figure, or not even as one of the top coaches in the MLS. But I do think that he's proved that he can be a competent MLS coach, because, like you said, he did win. Now, did he win, with Atlanta because he had Miguel Almiron and, they had a great team? Joseph Martinez was in his prime and all. Yeah, every coach needs players to win. No coach just wins without players. So, you can't put it all on the players. You can't put it all on the coach. But, overall, is Tata Martino good enough to coach in MLS? Yeah, absolutely. 100. If Phil Neville's coaching in the MLS and Peter Vermees is able to keep his job for 14 years, then why can't Tata coach in the MLS?
Yeah. Hey, and listen, if he starts shitting the bed and starts doing poorly,
we talked about it, man. We
Go
talked about it
fire
on
him.
an episode. We talked
Yeah.
about it on an episode earlier this year. You know, we said, and especially now, you know, what the name that both of us talked about was Xavi. Now, do I think Xavi would be a great replacement for Tata? No, absolutely not. I'm not a big fan of Xavi. I think he's more of a fraud than Tata. I don't think just because you're a great player, it means that you're a great coach. But
ooh,
man, that
did he
did
step on
not
him?
look good. No, it didn't look like he stepped on it, but it looked like he
Okay.
hit his head or something.
Yeah, snapped his neck, or his head snapped back on Aiden Morris.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to do something here. I mean, there's still plenty of time. There's 37 minutes plus stoppage time. There's still plenty of time, but they're going to have to score. We're just got to see more, man. It just feels like they're just kind of like they're dragging right now. You know, they're not.
Absolutely.
There's no sense of urgency. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like the show, subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend, man. If you know any of your soccer loving friends, we're having fun. We're discussing all these comments. We're going to give a jersey away. Donnie has a Leo Messi pink Royal Caribbean jersey we're going to be giving away throughout the show. So just, make sure you like this video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share with a friend. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask away.
Yeah, good question there by Anthony, asking if we're gonna do any MLS game live streams in the future. Hey, we've talked about it, Will, haven't we?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a chance. I guess it just really depends on who it is and like what if the schedules work in our favor. I definitely have the intention to stream some playoff games because obviously the stakes are very high. I'm definitely want to stream the MLS Cup Final. And hopefully by that time we don't have a congested schedule, right? Hopefully there's not a bunch of things going on. Hopefully they don't schedule the MLS Cup Final on a a Sunday where we got a full slate of NFL games. So that way the MLS gets all the eyes on it. I mean, even if you have to schedule the damn thing on a Friday, man, like don't put yourself in a bad spot competing with NFL games on the most important, game of the season, which they do all the time.
Yeah, or college football. That would be on Saturday. But anyway, I mean, to get back to, well, there you go, Leagues Cup. And Anthony's talking about it. We did talk about it a little earlier in the stream that we do want to maybe stream, do a couple live streams of the Leagues Cup. We've also talked about doing a couple of shows a week, possibly on some of the Leagues Cup results and summary shows. So Will and I are talking about doing a lot of cool things together, and I appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to do this with him. And honestly, like he always says, we're here for you guys. We love doing, we love talking about football and about soccer, and so if there's an opportunity for us to do something, and we feel like you guys would enjoy it, we're gonna consider it, right?
100%, man. 100%. My whole goal, a lot of people always ask me, who is your favorite MLS club? And, that's one of the things about me is I don't have a club. I just want this league to reach its potential. That's why I started my Twitter account. And I'm sure some of you follow me on there at mlsmoves. That's why I started this YouTube channel, because I wanted to connect with you guys. I wanted to help this game grow. I want this league to grow to its, full potential. And I just love talking with you guys. It's just fun just to chat with you guys and help grow the interest, man, because this country has so much potential. There are so many fans who love soccer that just don't care about MLS. And we have to work on changing that. And the league's got to do its part too, right? The league's got to do its part too. It's got to spend more. They have to do their part to get the fans more engaged and make them give a damn.
Absolutely. And I think, the commenters really bring up good points here in talking about spreading the games out, having a midweek slate, which we've seen, MLS do, now and then. For example, this last week we had some, games during the week.
Ooh.
Man,
Ooh.
almost another one.
Man, they got to get Chris Ramirez on the field to try to like give a chance to score here. I mean, they're not doing anything. Oh, come on.
I mean, this is it right here. This chance right here.
This is the best chance of the game. Come on, Rossi.
Oh man.
Offside. Oh man.
Yeah, that was rough. But yeah, I agree, man. They have to and I'll answer that one and you can too. I mean, I think that we have to see who they're gonna play, but looking at the teams that are qualified, man, I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be that easy for the MLS. I don't think it's gonna be that easy for the Asian teams. It's there's some powerhouses coming from Europe, so Aiden hit it by accident, it kind of like flicked off of him. That's why Schulte had to dive kind of weird.
See, friend of the show and friend in real life, Dalton Kemper says Pachuca getting free shots all night like a girl at a dive bar. Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody wants a piece, bro. Yes, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's like I don't know what's going on with Columbus. I mean, they're normally a very organized team, right? They normally don't give away that many chances, and they're always creating chances. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on tonight, man. It's like their head's out of the game.
Is that how it goes on in up in the Midwest? Girls get free shots at dive bars, because in Miami, and oh man, it looks like they might get another one here. But good defense. But in Miami, it doesn't matter what bar you're at. Girls get free shots at any bar.
Yeah. Man, they've got to get a goal here. They've got to get a goal.
Thing is that I don't see them playing that terrible. Like, yes, they're not possessing the ball a lot, but man, when they do have the ball, that was a bad center, but I mean, they're attacking.
And follow up, he said, girls get free shots wherever the guys are desperate. So everywhere. Yes. It's true, man. There. It's true.
Yeah. So somebody talking there about that elevation. We talked about it earlier, but Cucho said that it shouldn't make, play into it, because they've been training over the last couple of weeks with the special mass and all that. Now, I don't know, how effective those are. I don't know if you've trained with one of those, Will, or not, but I don't know if they're as effective as people make it out to seem. Oh man, I hate the wave.
I don't know, man. I think even with the mask, it's just hard to replicate that type of elevation. I mean, they had a graph earlier that said that Columbus is like 800 feet above sea level, and I think it said that Pachuca, or where the stadium's at, it's like 8,000 feet above sea level. So 7,200 feet difference, man, is crazy. That's crazy. And I know that like they always talk about playing at Mile High Stadium in Colorado, that, it's hard to breathe. You get tired, you get heavy legs. I mean, it's totally different, right? It's totally different. I don't know if there's a single MLS stadium that's 8,000 feet above sea level.
So there's not, but so one of the highest is this team in Peru called Always Ready, and their stadium is 14,100 feet above sea level. It's the highest stadium in the world, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you can imagine it's basically almost double what they're playing here. Oh man. That number 99, he's
a menace, man. He's a menace. Hey, listen, if you are I just want to make an announcement here. If you are a shit MLS club, and there are plenty of you need to be scouting number 99 for Pachuca. There are several teams in this league that could be using this man, okay? Free scouting tip right there. They need to be watching this dude. I mean, he's literally been having his way with one of the best teams in MLS tonight. Yeah. In the Columbus Crew. Somebody needs to scout this dude. Someone needs to try to make a play for him, because he's been an absolute menace tonight for Pachuca.
Yeah, he's literally he has annihilated whoever's playing on that left side for Columbus. He's just
See, that's
killing them.
they're,
Yeah,
they're,
who is that?
they just said that Pachuca's out shooting Columbus 18-6. Man, they're not getting enough opportunities. They're gonna have to they need to bring Christian Ramirez on.
Yeah. So here's some stats for those of you listening. With it's about almost the 63rd minute, and just like Will said, 18-6 shots, 7-2 on shots on target. The possession, funny enough, Columbus has most of the possession at 58% to 42%, and they've completed more passes. They've committed less fouls, so they've played, again, a decent game. They're just not shooting the ball. They're not getting the shots. And if you don't get the shots, it's not going to go in, right?
Yeah. I mean, they got to get some opportunities, man. They got to do something. They need to have Christian Ramirez play up top with Cucho Hernandez and let Diego Rossi play underneath.
Yep. That could be. And who would you take out, though? Would you take out either Yeboah or...
Probably Yeboah, man. Yeboah's kind of been a non-factor this match. I mean, hell, some of his passes have been terrible, and he's normally a good player. He's just having an off game. I think you got to take Yeboah off, honestly. Let's see what we got here.
Other guy who hasn't played that well is Cucho. Cucho hasn't played that well.
No, Cucho's been like non-existent, man. Oh, bro, what are they doing? Did you see that? They're ball watching. Like the dude.
Yeah. Hey, we talked about him. It could really be the altitude affecting them at this point. I mean, they're about 2/3 of the way into the game, and playing at that high, elevation does affect. So that could be coming into effect here.
Horacio said that's not the MLS model. They'd rather pay Ramos $12 million a year at age 38. Yeah, I mean that's there's a lot of teams in MLS that don't spend. They don't spend in a smart way, right? They make some. I mean, you just can't spend. Oh, here we go. Best. Come on, Rossi.
Cucho's got to get there. Oh, no.
But yeah, I mean, there's teams that just have to spend a little better, man. I mean, 38 or $12 million a year for a 38-year-old defender who. I mean, I think he had kind of like a so-so season with Sevilla. I don't think it was great, right?
No,
I think
it was very bad. And not only that, remember he was at PSG before and he was injured.
Yeah, he was always he barely played, right? I think he was I want to say he really only played like one season, right? Because he was hurt. So it's like the first season he didn't play at all.
That's right. I mean, as I wouldn't call myself an Inter Miami fan or supporter, but I would say that I follow the team because they're in my hometown. A lot of folks down here would love to see Sergio Ramos in the black and pink. And that's mainly because they're Real Madrid fans. But I'll tell you this, man, at this point in their careers, I would take Nacho over Sergio Ramos any day. And I think, that's who Inter Miami might be targeting now that the Champions League is over. So it's going to be interesting. So just to give you a quick update, Iceberg here, he basically says that the crew vale verga means that they're shit.
Oh my god, dude, it's over.
And there it is, bro. There it is, man. Yeah, that's it, man.
This is fucking embarrassing, man. This is embarrassing.
Yep. This is
embarrassing. This is literally shitting, laying an egg, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is not what you wanted. If you are rooting for the Columbus Crew tonight.
This is embarrassing.
Or if you're just rooting for the MLS, but look, that goes to show you the difference, Will, between the two players. I mean, the two teams. I mean, you've got guys like Rondon. Again, he's played in Europe for many, many years. You've got guys on the team like Idrissi, like this guy, Rodriguez Macias, number 99. Who do you got on the other side that's like that? What, a Diego Rossi maybe? A Cucho Hernandez? But I would say that Rondon is on a much different level than a Cucho Hernandez. Don't you agree?
Man, yeah, I mean, he looks world class tonight. He looks world class. I just want to say real quick, and I know the owners are obviously responsible for a lot of what the league does. Don Garber is kind of like the figurehead he's the spokesperson for the league, and obviously he's the commissioner. He does what the owners tell him. But we need more initiative than what we're doing right now. We need more initiative than what we're doing right now. We have got to start spending more money, better depth. These dudes just played a game this past Wednesday, right? The Columbus Crew just played Wednesday. They have no depth at all. No depth at all. Like, this is ridiculous, man. We're literally setting up barriers and roadblocks in our own fucking way.
Yeah.
They could spend. I mean, they could easily have better depth, and this game could have been a blowout.
Oh no. It might get worse.
I mean, dude, you should have 4 or 5 Cucho Hernandez's and Diego Rossi's, right? Not just 1 or 2. This is all problems created by the league. And listen, 100%. I know people say like, "Oh, I want parity. I don't want my team to get smoked. I don't want my cheap team to not have a chance for the cup." But man, that's on them. Like, I'm not saying get rid of the cap completely. I know that you talked earlier about getting rid of the cap. I'm just talking about increasing it. The cap is only $5.4 million. Yes, there's GAM. Yes, there's TAM. But that's not enough. They've got to do more than that, man. 3DPs is insane.
Yep, I agree 100%. I mean, this really goes to show you the disparity between the two leagues. You've got Pachuca, who this season made it to the playoffs, and they did all right, but they're not like a world beater in Mexico. I mean, it's just a team who hasn't played in 3 weeks. I mean, they basically lost to America in the quarterfinals of the Liga MX. Haven't played in 3 weeks, and they're just smoking the MLS champions. I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, a lot has to do with coaching as well. So, Guillermo Almada had his team ready, from the first minute, and it looks like, Wilfred Nancy, just either he couldn't get through to his team, or his team just couldn't do it.
Man, what's sad too is, like, who the hell do we even press for this? Like, who are we questioning? Don Garber, he only makes appearances once a year, like press conferences, maybe All-Star game, maybe, and obviously he makes one for the MLS Cup Final. But who we got to talk to, man? We've got coaches, we've got players. I mean, who else needs to say that they need to spend more before they finally listen and do it?
The fans.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like the fans have said it. Like, I don't know a fan that's saying, "Hey, we don't need to spend more." I haven't seen a single fan that says, "Hey, I don't want to spend more." Right?
But I'm not talking about coming on to our show, your show, my show, this show, any show, and just saying, "Hey, we need to spend more." That's obvious, but it needs to be at the stadiums. If you are a Chicago Fire fan and you're going to the Soldier Field to the game, and you don't think, you don't agree with it, you need to take a sign and say, spend more money. Or if you are, part of one of the supporters groups, you need to come up with a song that says, hey, we got to spend more money. That's how they do it in Europe. That's how they do it in South America. You put pressure on the front office through the fan base. The problem is, in the United States, the front office feels a little bit of pressure from the fan base. They offer them a couple of free beers, a little signing session with the team, and the fans go and they shut up. And that's because, here they're not real clubs. They're franchises. And until the fans start, acting like real fans, it's going to continue going like this. And I'm not saying you gotta boycott, but go out there with signs, go out there with flags, yell to your front office about wanting better players. Like, that's the only way it's going to happen.
What do you think right now about Don Garber, the commissioner of MLS right now? What do you like? How would you approve of his job right now? I mean, obviously he kept the league afloat, in its infancy because of how badly it was ran and how there wasn't a lot of soccer interest in this country 25, 26 years ago. But what has he done the last couple years to really help elevate this league into what it could do? What is he doing? I mean, yeah, we're charging $500 million expansion fees for teams. Why the hell is our salary cap $5 million? Why is it
I
$5
agree.
million?
I agree. And look, in terms of Don Garber, I think you've got to, like you said, I mean, he kept the league when everybody thought that it was going to completely fold. You had teams folding left and right, the Miami Fusion being one of them. So I was affected because I actually did go to a lot of Fusion games. I was actually a Fusion fan. I would say I was a Fusion fan, not like Inter Miami. I still need some more time on that. But look, Don Garber did what he did, but like every single leader in their position, sometimes it's time for a change. It's time for a breath of fresh air. So I think it might be time, for Garber to step aside, and we need to bring somebody with, some newer ideas. I think he's tried. He's tried with the Leagues Cup. He's grown the league to a certain point, but to get to the next step, I think, he needs to hand the keys to somebody else.
Bro, you signed the biggest star on the planet. You have the best player in the world come to your league, right? Literally another club offered him $2 billion to come to their league. And he said, no, I'll come to MLS. I'll come to Miami. How are we capitalizing on this opportunity we have? Like, people aren't just going to stay around for MLS when he leaves if you don't do something.
I agree. I mean,
they're not going to stay.
Yeah, they need the teams need to get better. They need to change, the rules need to continue to change. They need to, continue to get better. They need to also, and look, and, I didn't know if we were going to get into this or not, but now that we're kind of talking about that the league needs to get better and all that, you're aware that Europe, that UEFA agreed to let local or, like the leagues play their
regular season matches on U.S. soil and other countries. Yeah, man.
You get a Real Madrid Barcelona at MetLife on a Saturday afternoon in October, and who's gonna watch MLS on Apple on Apple TV? No, they're gonna watch that. Nobody's gonna go watch NYCFC. Nobody's gonna go watch the Red Bulls. They're gonna go watch that game. Don Garber and league, they need to make some changes if they want to stay afloat, because I'm starting to see other leagues impede on soccer in the United States, and they need to continue to grow if they don't want to, basically fold again.
Ultimate Potato said he believes that MLS should give every team the Miami treatment. I'm assuming he's talking about the non-salary cap rules that Miami play with. They're roster compliant as far as I know. I don't know if any cooking the books or anything like that. Obviously speculation and joking, but I think that they're doing everything the right way. But hell, even if they weren't, man, who gives a shit? I don't care. I would want every team to cook the books and spend as much as they want. Get the Matuidi treatment, right? Let's get some Matuidis, man. I don't care. Like, if it's not like you're breaking the damn law, like if you're willing to spend spend $10 million on a guy's salary, it's your money. Why can't you?
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. And a lot of folks are going to say, well, because some owners are not going to want to spend, but that's that owner's fault. And again, folks look at the European leagues and almost a beautiful goal. And, you see, La Liga is a 3-team league, essentially. It's always either Real, Barca, or Atletico. Once in a while you get a Sevilla, once in a while you get a Valencia or a Villarreal, but it's really a 2 or 3 team league. France is a 3-team league. Germany, I guess now is a 3-team league, right? You got Dortmund, you got Munich, and obviously the champions this year, Leverkusen. So could MLS turn into that? Yes, but I think the owners in the MLS have enough money where they don't have to let it turn into that. I also think MLS has too many teams. They do. And they need. I think they need to get to 40 and split the league into an A division and a B division. Now that all the teams are under that one single entity, but I don't think it would make a difference in terms of if you're on the A division or B division. I think it would make it more fun.
Oh, it would. And guys, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already. We're getting close to 30 likes. I'd like to hit 30 likes before the stream ends. We're getting really close. I think we're at 26 or 27. So make sure you like the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We got a lot of MLS content coming your way. Like we had said earlier in the show, me and Danny are going to be doing some live streams of Leagues Cup matches that's going to be starting in July. We might end up doing another MLS live stream at some point before then, or maybe even after. Everything is on the table. And, I've enjoyed this, even though this is not the result that I wanted. I've enjoyed this, man. I mean, this has not been fun to watch. But, hey, if you have two MLS clubs playing each other, you can't lose, right? You can't lose unless you're one of those teams, a fan of one of those teams. But, yeah, this is just a nightmare, man. This has just been a nightmare.
For Columbus, it has been. For Pachuca, it's been an absolute, fantasy for them. Just going up to 2-0 at the half was huge. And then getting that third goal, just sealed the deal. Other than the first 5 minutes, I don't think Columbus was really, really in this game. I know I said I thought they had a chance to come back, but they just didn't show up. They just didn't show up.
You know what the saddest part is, too, is that 10 MLS clubs made this tournament, man. Like, in every other tournament, like Copa Libertadores, I'm not as, well-versed on that or know it as well. But I do know that there there can be 6 or 7 clubs from the Brazilian League or the Argentine League that make the champions or Copa Libertadores. MLS has 10. 10. There's only 6 Liga MX clubs that made this tournament. There are 10 MLS clubs that entered this tournament. And they still can't win the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, the players, the spending. It really goes back to all that. I mean, you cannot.
Almost own goal.
I know. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to win this tournament on a consistent basis until you invest in your league. They're just not. I think they want to. I just don't think they're doing it the right way.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like this. I mean, this league is so frustrating. Anybody who is a fan of a club in this league or just the league in general, like me, right? There's always something they do that's frustrating. They're always getting in their own way. And I just never thought, honestly, that. I said this earlier. I never thought we'd have Messi in the league, and I'd be pissed about where we're at. I thought that they would have kind of loosened the purse strings and things would be getting better, not worse. I mean, this is the worst performance I've seen in a Concacaf Champions Cup Final or whatever the hell it's called these days, right? They changed the name twice, but a Concacaf final. This is the worst performance I've seen by an MLS club in a while. It's normally close, right? I mean, we've talked about how close teams are normally to winning this, and Columbus has just shit the bed tonight.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. What the hell was that? What was the pass? Did you see how delayed that was?
Yeah.
Cucho, he was like 3 seconds too late on that pass, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just not, it just looks like they're not fully focused. Those goals, those early goals really took it out of them.
Iceberg says crew got cocky, all for nothing. They're getting humbled, and it's good to see. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people thought that they were the favorite in this game. I thought they were because of the gauntlet they've ran to get here, and they shit the bed, man. I mean, there's no way around it. They definitely shit the bed tonight. This is a very bad performance by them. So yeah, they deserve all the criticism. We can criticize MLS for the rules, but nonetheless, or regardless of what the circumstances are, they should be playing better than what they are right now. I mean, That's just the truth.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Crispy Dog says, "What's the point of MLS teams winning Leagues Cup if they can't win the Champions Cup?" Yeah, I mean that's valid, man. I mean, honestly, I don't honestly think Liga MX even gives a damn about winning Leagues Cup. They just know all the money they're going to be making because of the revenue from all the stadiums they're filling up over on U.S. soil, all the Liga MX fans being able to watch their teams up close. Yeah, I don't think they even care about winning that. I mean, sure, you get a Champions League slot for winning it, but they don't care. They're winning it with 6 teams. Like it doesn't even matter that MLS has 10 teams. They're still not winning it. So I don't even think they care. Let's see. Ultimate Potato says, please avoid Leagues Cup for some reason. It feels weird to watch as Liga MX teams really don't care about it. Gives MLS fans false happiness. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Doesn't matter. Let's see.
Man, a lot of good comments here. I love Anthony talking about not enough stakes with rivalries. I love what Mint City said, an embarrassment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Aston Wolf said Liga MX will always be ahead of MLS until MLS decides to grow up. Yeah, we talked about that. They're in their own way, man. It's not like MLS has to get permission to spend. Like they're making their own rules. They could do what they want. They make the rules for this. Like they can spend. I mean, we have 2 leagues with totally separate rules, right? Right, Danny? Like the Premier League when they're playing La Liga, or we'll use example Bundesliga today because Dortmund and obviously Madrid played in the final. Neither one of those teams have any restrictions on what they can spend. Neither one of them do.
They have FIFA financial fair play, but the rule is for both of them. I mean, they can spend as much as they want, and then I don't know the exact rule for the FFP, but it's not like here where Pachuca can spend basically whatever they want, and Columbus has to have a $5 million salary cap. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We can't say it enough. We cannot say it enough.
Yeah, I can't believe I just can't believe that this 3-0, man. That's like I said, that this is a worst case scenario. This is I never thought it would be 3-0. I thought Pachuca always had a chance because obviously the elevation and the home field advantage, but I thought worst case scenario, I thought it would be 1-1, they win in PKs, or maybe like a 2-1 win, right, for Pachuca. I never thought it was going to be a 3-0 dog walk where they don't even score a goal, Columbus.
Yeah, me either. I thought they would at least get one. But no, look, now here comes Inestrosa and a couple other substitutes. But yeah, this game's done. Cucho's coming out and they're putting in they're putting somebody else in for him. So yeah, I mean, look, Wayne Bender says it's so hard to support MLS because, this is one of the worst nights in MLS history. I don't think it's one of the worst nights in MLS history. Did Columbus get embarrassed? Yeah, but, there was a lot of factors involved. Pachuca hasn't played in 3 weeks. Columbus just played on Wednesday. 8,000 feet of elevation, the difference in how much the teams are spending. But I don't think it's an embarrassment, the most embarrassing nights in MLS history. I think there's been more. I think honestly, Inter Miami losing to Monterrey the way that they did in Monterrey was more embarrassing than this. When you look at the team that Inter Miami has compared to who Columbus has. So look, again, I wouldn't go that far, Wayne. I don't know about you, Will, but I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it's that. I mean, yeah, I think it's embarrassing, but I don't think it's the worst night in MLS history.
Well, I think I kind of see both points because it really it's very embarrassing, and like the reason why I kind of see what he means is because this league is supposed to be better. You're not we talked about how close they've been in other years. You're not supposed to be getting worse in this game. You're supposed to be getting better in these type of games, right? You're supposed to be getting closer to winning these type of games. And to lose 3-0 when you have a more talented side, or you're supposed to, or maybe even a better coach, it's close, right? The coaching is pretty even, maybe, but the rosters, Columbus, I think, has a higher valuable team based on transfer markets evaluations, whatever you guys put stock into that. But yeah, I mean, this game should be getting closer in quality and results, not worse. Like, when is the last time an MLS club lost a final by this badly? I mean,
it's
the
been
last
a while.
couple ones have been, yeah. I mean, the last couple ones have been close.
Yeah, and as one of the listeners says, my apologies. Columbus did not play on Wednesday. That was my apology. The last game they had was on last Saturday. They
Well,
beat
then that's
Orlando
even
City.
worse. Then, right? That's even worse.
Right. So they had a full week.
Columbus.
Right. They had a full week to prepare essentially. And they didn't get it done. They didn't get it done. You know, I see a lot of the commenters here talking about how they'd rather support the U.S. men's national team than MLS, but I
go hand in hand, right?
But no, but I think that's an issue. Like, they want to support U.S. men's national team because they've surpassed El Tri, like they're saying, right? They surpassed Mexico. But I mean, how could you want to support like that? That's just being a fair weather fan. What? Because they're better than Mexico. So if Mexico starts beating the U.S. men's national team, you're just not going to support them anymore. Like, no, you got to support your MLS team, and whether they stink or not, and you gotta support, man. That's the only way that the league is going to grow. Is more fans for teams, the fans being vocal, getting better coaches, getting better players, basically what everybody's been saying in the chat. I mean, we have, Will, man, you got some really, really good folks that or some really smart folks that knowledgeable folks that like to join you here.
Who is it now?
No, I'm saying you got a lot of knowledgeable folks in the comments here who are talking to us because they've been asking some good questions and and correcting us on a couple things all night, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to get Nick from Voices of Black and Gold in here to get a couple comments. He is a huge supporter of Don Garber. Just kidding. He hates. He's not a fan of his either. But yeah, the fans have been great, man. We have very educated fans, and they know what's up. They know the deficiencies that Major League Soccer has, and what it could be doing better to give us a better product. And when you talked about the national team going hand in hand, or you don't want to bail on them because Liga MX Mexico beats them, or they go in a drought of winning trophies. I mean, we MLS is important to the growth of soccer in this country. Obviously, we want our best players play in Europe right now because that's where the best soccer is played. But a lot of the development, the academy system, everything in the infancy of their development is happening here before they make that move. Gio Reyna, before he went to Dortmund, he was playing with NYCFC's academy. That's important. That was important. That was important to his growth before he took the next step and went to Dortmund. Or Joe Scally, or Ricardo Pepi is another player that's been developed in MLS, or even Alphonso Davies, the only world-class player that MLS has ever produced, was developed at Vancouver. So I mean, it is important to have a domestic league that can produce talent, and if MLS reaches its potential, that's better for the national team. That's going to help the national team. You want to have good players in a good league at home. There are very, very few great national teams that have terrible leagues. Very, very few. Very, very few.
Uruguay's league is awful, but
it is
pretty good.
They're like the exception to the rule, right? They're like the one exception. Like, how many teams or how many countries have a great national team in a shitty league?
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. I'm gonna try to get Nick in here.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. It really does. It really does go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, this is I mean, we need to. It's okay to voice your frustration. I mean, you can hate MLS for its shortcomings and what it needs to do better. I agree. I've led the charge on that. I'm not an MLS shill. I know that there's things that need to be done to make this league better. That's why I'm voicing that. That's what I've been saying all night, right? I've been talking about what needs to improve. And I'm hoping to God that there's change, right? Because 2026 is the most important soccer year in this country by far. The World Cup is going to be here. All eyes are going to be on the U.S., right? Because of the World Cup being here. And then everybody's going to give MLS an opportunity, right? They're going to tune into the domestic league. It might be a game. It might be 2 games. They've got to do enough to want these people to stick around and stay after the World Cup, not watch one game and say, this is dog shit. I'm not watching this. Bye. Right? You don't want that to happen. You want to give them a reason to say, you know what? hell, this is awesome, man. I'm gonna stick around. Like, this is cool. I want to. This can continue my love for soccer after, after the World Cup. And I just don't think they're doing that right now, man. They're not doing that right now.
No, they aren't. They aren't, and they have a couple years to get there. So let's really hope for for the league and really for fans of soccer all around the world. I think it would, I think having a competitive USA team would be fantastic. I love when Mexico is competitive. I think they have great fans. They're super rude, but they travel and they're always there and they're always rooting. That's what I want for the US. You go to a USA game here, doesn't matter who they play, but half the stadium or 3/4 of the stadium is just kind of sitting down like if they're at the theater. And then you've got, the real supporters groups that are just kind of singing their songs. But I would say it's almost the same as going to like a Broadway show in New York. And the game just finished here, it's over, and Pachuca wins. But that's how I feel like going to the U.S. men's national team games. Like if I'm going to a Broadway show in New York, it's like I feel like there needs to be more hype, or I just don't know, man.
I just want to say congratulations to Pachuca on winning the Concacaf Champions Cup. They well-deserved. They were the clear-cut dominant team this match. Wasn't even close the whole game. Well-deserved. Congratulations. I think is this the second or is this the third champions? Is this their first? Or I could have sworn Pachuca's won before with I think Diego Alonso has won with Pachuca. I want to say he has.
Let's see. Let's see how many times they've won it. I'm doing a quick research right here. Don't know.
How many CONCACAF Champions Cups? Pachuca won. Okay, it says... Okay, so Pachuca has 5 CONCACAF Champions.
Wow.
They have 5. So
actually, nope, they're 6. Yep, you're right. These are 6
now. Six is this is their 6th one. So congratulations on your 6th. They have 6 times the amount of any MLS Cup or any MLS club, right? I mean, well deserved, man. Well deserved. They earned this, right? They give them their flowers. They were better, right? They were better.
Absolutely. Other than the first 5-10 minutes where, you really saw Columbus attacking, getting, a couple good shots. It was the Pachuca show for 75, 80 minutes of this game. And they deserved it. They scored great goals. They played like a team. And they showed, the American world in terms of North America, South America, and Central America, what it takes to be a champion.
Yeah, and look, there's all the excuses you could make for MLS, right? Why they didn't win, but the fact is, there was one game. It was June 1st. There's no preseason excuse for Major League Soccer because they've been in season since February. Pachuca hasn't played a game in 3 weeks, and they were just a better team, man. Simple as that. They were the better team, and it hurts, right? It hurts. I mean, there's go ahead and turn this off. Let me switch this over to the full screen now. Yeah, I mean, that was just a tough one, man. That was a tough one. I honestly thought Columbus was going to win. I really did. I really thought they were going to win. And I mean, are you guys in the chat? Like, are you surprised, honestly? Like, what was your expectations coming in tonight? I mean, I was feeling pretty good, honestly. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a close match, but I mean, this was just a beating. This was a beating. Like they absolutely stole the house, right?
Yeah, I would think that from all the comments that the folks that have been with us on the stream have made, that they're not as surprised as you will. Maybe a couple folks, but I don't know, man. Some of these other folks don't think don't think it was going to be that close. So I did. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than what it was. I thought Nancy was going to have his team ready to compete. And again, they just didn't show up. So no excuses. It is what it is.
So the question is this going to be a wake-up call for MLS? Are we just going to go, back to normal, nothing happened, sweep it under the rug? Or are we going to look ourselves in the mirror, Don Garber, everybody in charge of the competition? Are we going to look ourselves in the mirror and ask what the hell happened? Are we going to do some self-reflection on what we could do better? Or are we just going to go back to business as usual and just wait till the next year and get everybody hyped up again and say, yeah, man, this is our year, right? This is the year. Hey, we won Leagues Cup again.
So I think we're going to put that question on hold. And when Leagues Cup finishes, I'll answer that. Because I think if a Liga MX team wins Leagues Cup this year, then all hell might break loose in terms of, because that I mean, we've talked about it, and the folks in the chat talked about it. I mean, that's a basically a tournament wrapped up like a gift for an MLS team to win it. All the games are on, US soil and all that. So, I think we're going to have to wait and see, because if MLS wins it again, then the excuse becomes, oh, but we beat them in Leagues Cup. And that's the excuse that we, folks like you and myself who want better for this league and all that, we don't want to hear that excuse. But we're going to have to wait and see. I think, unfortunately, because of who runs the league and who's in charge of the league, that's just what it's going to be.
Man, 3-0, man. What the hell? Like, I mean, I just can't believe that's the goose egg they laid. I mean, what the fuck? Right? I mean, that's just crazy, man. It's like, we've been on the stream for 2.5 hours, and it's just like, I just can't believe that there was a 3-0 ass whooping by Pachuca over in Columbus Crew. Well deserved, by the way, right? No hate. Like, Pachuca deserved it, right? 99. What did you say 99's name was?
Rodriguez Macias.
Rodriguez, yes. So whoever, there's so many MLS clubs that need to be targeting him. Like, get him on the scouting report. Try to get him in, bring him to MLS, because he just shredded one of the best teams in the league tonight, had his way with them. And then the striker, who was number 23, who was the guy that had the brace tonight, probably the man of the match?
Yeah, Solomon Rondon.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is, but that's another player, man. You see a guy who's
he's in his twilight.
is he washed? Is he like on the verge of being washed?
Yeah, he's in his late 30s.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you right now. I'll give you his age right now. But yeah, Salomon Rondon is 34 years old. So I guess he could have a couple of good years in the MLS. If you got Luis Suarez playing at 37, 38, Solomon might be able to do a little bit of damage. But dude, I mean, he showed it. He did the damage against an MLS team tonight. So I don't know what he makes, but I can tell you it's probably more than what some of the forwards in MLS make today.
Hey, by the way, real quick, just a league update, because I'm sure we got many MLS fans in the chat. RSL is currently beating Austin FC 5-0, and Chicharrongo has a hat trick.
Wow. So that changes the tables a little bit.
16 goals for Chicharrongo. Chicharrongo deserves a call up. He's in first. He's running away with first right now. I mean, he's got 16 goals. He was tied with Benteke, but now he's running away with it. And I mean, Chicharrongo definitely deserves a call up with the Colombian national team. He has to. He is in the best form of any player in the league right now in Major League Soccer. He's the clear-cut MVP this season so far.
I agree. And just to update, since you said we have fans, probably from all over the MLS watching, we can give them a full update. But DC and Toronto tied 2-2, Philadelphia and Montreal tied 2-2. Inter Miami and St. Louis tied 3-3. So a lot of goals in those three games. A lot of goals in this match day altogether, including those 5. And they still have 15 minutes left in that Real Salt Lake and Austin. LAFC and Dallas are almost at the half 0-0. Vancouver, Colorado also almost at the half 0-0. And Portland and Houston are also almost at the half, and they're tied 1-1. So, man, a lot of goals on this match day. I'm excited to see your summary.
Yeah. I'll be doing the typical recap that I release every Tuesday. Looks like it's going to be exciting. Can't wait to catch up on the games we missed. I'm definitely going to take this game and bury it deep down and out of my memory. Try to pretend it never happened, except when I'm obviously bringing up the argument of why we should spend more as a league. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the highlights and one of the things too that I always found interesting is, have you ever noticed? I don't know how long you've been watching the Concacaf Champions League. How long you've been keeping a close eye on it. But it seems like every year there's always a team in MLS that's in the tournament that have no business being in the tournament. Like New England, I'm pretty sure I think they were in it this year. They were definitely in it last year. They got smoked. I know Austin got smoked last year.
Yeah, they were in it this year. They got smoked by, I think it was America. I think they were down 4-0 before the half or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. What other league in the world or a Champions League do you have bad teams playing in the Champions League? Like normally it's the best teams, right? A lot of times it's the best, like especially in UEFA, right? At least in that league, the 4 best teams are playing. You don't have a lot of instances where the team qualifying for the Champions League, the team is like in 16th place, right?
Yes, that's right. I mean, in all of Europe, it's usually the top 4, the top 2 that qualify. But and I'm gonna play like, I don't know if it's devil's advocate is the right word, but I'm gonna say this. Like, for example, this year, in Spain, if you look at the La Liga table, how it finished, Girona is gonna be playing in Europe because they ended in 3rd place. Girona is most likely going to sell a lot of their, some of their players, some of their younger players. I think that was more of an anomaly type of season for them than a normal season, right?
Yeah.
So, you get Girona and you put them in a group with Bayern Munich or with like Manchester City or whatever, and it might be ugly next year. So there are some, and again, it happens in some leagues. I'm sure it would happen with, maybe a team that would qualify from Austria or a team that would qualify from the Dutch league or something like that, where, an Ajax, they might finish in 1st place, but they're known for developing young players and selling them. And so maybe they might not be as good that following season as they were the year before. So, but overall, I agree with you. Yes, usually it's the best teams. And obviously New England had zero business in this year's CCC.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna probably go maybe we'll hit the 3-hour mark. I kind of want to wait till Nick gets in here because I want to get a couple comments on what he has to say about Don Garber. Maybe we'll end the show with the jersey giveaway, right? We'll end that as soon as Nick's done speaking. I'll have you pick a commenter throughout the show, and if you guys don't respond, if you're somehow not in the chat still, we'll make sure to message you on the community notes or the community post and say who won the Messi kit. But also make sure you guys like this video. We are only 2 likes away from 40 likes. Also subscribe. I see we have a lot of viewers who aren't currently subscribed to the channel, so make sure you subscribe. I'm always putting out MLS content, good and bad, just giving honest takes. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my new videos. Yeah, man, I think just to take the positive away, I think we brought up a lot of good points about what this league needs to do to fix things, right? And sometimes that's the best thing to do when you're winning and you're or you get tunnel vision about what you need to do to improve, and you kind of don't really think about what you need to fix. You just kind of go with the flow. But like this performance kind of gives you a clear sight on what they need to do going forward, right?
Absolutely.
So,
so we're waiting for Nick to come on, and Nick will. I'm sure Nick is gonna have a lot of hot takes. He always is ready to go, and
big LA and
fun guy to chat with. And it's interesting. We're probably gonna grab him here at halftime. And funny enough, yeah, I mean, Planet John says it. Dortmund sold Haaland, Bellingham, and Sancho, and they did. But where did they finish in the Bundesliga? I don't believe they finished that great.
I think they finished. I want to say it was. I know, obviously Leverkusen. So they finished 5th.
That's what I'm saying. So, they if they don't, they didn't win today. So I guess they still qualify for
They do.
Champions League because the top 5 teams do. But again, it's not like they were the first team or the second team. It was we're going to see what happens in Europe. I think in the next few years, you're going to end up having that Super League or something like that. So, something crazy is going to go on. And I think next year's Champions League, which is going to be with the new format, is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I don't know how familiar some of the viewers are with the format they changed in this Champions League, right? They went from 16, like the MLS and Liga MX clubs automatically made the knockout round, right? The round of 16. They changed it now to where it's like 27 teams qualify for the actual Champions League, and it's a little bit different, right? You're not guaranteed to make the round of 16. So it honestly makes it feel more like a Champions League. Teams can get knocked out early on. Like a Caribbean team, or like we said, a Costa Rican, Honduran team has that chance to play one of the bigger clubs and get that early knockout win to knock a big club out. And they changed, obviously, the number of teams that qualify in MLS, Liga MX possibly. There's just one match for the final. Now, one thing I would like to see, and we talked about this a little earlier in the stream, is I'd like to see it in a neutral location. I think that definitely, like, what if, right? What would this result have been if the match was played in Columbus instead of Pachuca? Would it have been different?
I think it would have. I think it would have, and I think that is the next step. The next part of the Concacaf Champions Cup evolution is I think they've got the tournament somewhat competitive. They might have some of the right teams in there. I know a lot of folks have been very vocal in terms of wanting 2 legs in the final, but if you start looking at all the top continental cups around the world, they're all 1-leg finals. The last one that was left to be a 2-leg final was the Copa Libertadores, and that changed a few years ago. Right there, Michael right away, he's saying 2 legs. Look, obviously 2 legs would have been different. But then again, I don't know, right? Having to recoup a 3-0, deficit back in Columbus if they were to play home and home would have been tough. So then you start saying, oh, maybe we should play in Columbus first and then in Pachuca second. That also would have made a difference. So there's a lot of variables at stake here. I think the neutral place, I agree with you, Will. The neutral place to me is the best. 1 game, neutral place is the fairest for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, if it was at Columbus, they would have had an advantage, obviously. I don't know how many fans. I didn't get a number, so I don't know how many fans travel to Pachuca to watch Columbus, right? I don't know how many, Columbus fans made the trip, but yeah, I mean, it makes a difference, man. And it could have been played in Texas, like I said earlier. That would have been neutral. That would have been fair because it would have been an easier drive or trip for a lot of Pachuca fans, right? Obviously, a bordering Texas, Mexico is, and there's a lot of Liga MX fans in Texas, so that would have been more ideal. Obviously, that's not what happened. So, but maybe they can make a change, just like we talked about Leagues Cup. A couple things weren't fair in the first Leagues Cup for Liga MX teams, and they're making changes to make it more fair for them. So hopefully they can make it more fair for the both teams in the final. Michael High said they cheat in Mexico. I would not even participate if I was MLS. We beat them 90% of the time, usually, except in these finals.
That's not.
Well, how do they cheat? How do they cheat? I want to follow up. How does Liga MX teams cheat when the games are played in Mexico? I'd like you to respond to that, Michael. Let me know how that is. Let's see. Begotten has said Mexican Americans support both nations and clubs, but if games are played in a neutral venue, the final would always be held in the U.S. stadium, and Mexico would not get a final ever.
No,
that's not true.
That's not true. They would move it around like how they do in all the other leagues. And it'll probably be like, okay, one country will do it, then another country will do it the following year. The issue is where it starts to get interesting is how many countries can truly host a game of this magnitude. And if you start looking at, Central America, North America. I think if a Canadian team were to make it, I think Canada could host a final. I think the U.S. could host a final. Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, maybe Honduras. I don't know. I don't know if Honduras has, the hotels and basically all the logistics in play for that. But I don't think it would always be in the United States. They would flip it around. And look, Costa Rica is more than capable enough, and they have a beautiful stadium in San Jose. So look, I'm for just moving it from country to country every year.
Planet John says, but if they played at a respective stadiums, it must be 2 legs. Also, how was it determined the game would be at Pachuca? Did they have a better record or something? Yeah, I think they did. I think they were one of the teams like Miami who had like a bye in that first round we talked about. So I think that they were the best. They like were the
higher seeded team.
Yeah,
right, higher
remaining seeded team. Yeah, so I think that's why they were able to have home field advantage for that. And I think that they even take that CONCACAF club ranking system into account. Let's see. Begotten says he likes the 2 final system, the 2 legs. Planet John says Panama might be interesting.
That would be they have good infrastructure. I mean, they call it the Miami of Central America, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of venues. There's a lot of venues that they could pick. Nico says, "I hate Pachuca." Damn it. Yeah, I mean, man, that was not. I don't know what club you support. Maybe Carew, maybe another Liga MX team. But yeah, that was a pretty bad performance tonight. That was. I mean, it's indefensible, right? That was not Columbus's best showing. I'll be curious to see what Nico or Wilfred Nancy says after the match about maybe what some of the struggles and like what he saw during the match.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna send Nick another invite if you want to read a couple other comments. Looks like maybe an argument in the comment section. Maybe some tempers are flaring.
Maybe here a couple tempers are flaring. Let's see what we got some comments here. Tobar is telling Michael he just started watching football last year based on his comment. That's not very nice. But Tobar, I've loved your comments all night, so keep commenting, man. I really, really love it. Senor Barriga saying, going off of what Begotten is saying, if they won't do it for the Gold Cup, they won't do it for the CCL. I'm not sure what he's referring to. The 2 final system. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to do that for a Gold Cup. They're not going to final or big tournaments like that, like the World Cup, the Gold Cup, the Euro Cup. They're not going to have 2 finals. It's always going to be 1 final, those types of tournaments. Thank you, Tovar. Thank you. Nico is saying it's because MLS stupid roster rules. Dumb Garber. Will, man, we've been talking. It's interesting. We've been getting some really interesting comments in terms of whose fault it is, and this and that. And a lot of folks are blaming roster rules, which is interesting. We've said it. We don't want to just blame roster rules, but it does hold a part of it. Darth Vader here says El Salvador is building a state-of-the-art 50,000 seat stadium. That's badass, man. See, and that's what I'm saying. That's why they need to be played at neutral venues all around, North, Central, South America. It's the only way that you're gonna get, folks traveling, and going to these other countries. I don't know if you saw the final a couple years ago in Uruguay, the Copa Libertadores final, between 2 Brazilian teams, but there was 70,000 people in that stadium. 70,000 Brazilians came from Brazil to Uruguay to watch that. How beautiful is that?
That's why we love this, man. That's why we love it. I mean, that's what I hope. That's what I hope, right? I mean, hopefully we have passionate fans. Sorry, wrong DMs there. Don't know how that happened. Sorry about that. I don't even know how that happened. The DMs, I guess my DMs were on the live stream. How that happened.
It's all anyway, good,
bro. But yeah, back to I think that's what's beautiful about the game, though, man, is that that can happen where teams can go watch their team in other countries, and the passion, right? That you said 70,000 Brazilian fans can go watch their club in Uruguay. That's sick, right? What if that happened here? What if we go to Costa Rica, Liga MX fans, MLS fans, or two MLS teams, right? That's possible. Two MLS teams go to Costa Rica and do that. That would be sick.
100%. I think that's, like I said, that's the next step that CONCACAF needs to do with this tournament. They've already shown that they can put on a decent tournament. I thought this year's CONCACAF Champions Cup had some interesting games. Obviously, we mentioned they had some teams that shouldn't belong in there, but overall, I thought the games were interesting. We got to see some really cool storylines with Brandon Vasquez going back to Cincinnati and scoring, and then Monterrey kicking, getting Inter Miami out. So overall, I think it was a great year for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Again, it just needs to evolve a little bit, just like every tournament, right?
Exactly. Well, it looks like Nick isn't going to be able to make it. I don't think. I think he's having some issues. So I guess we could just move on. Sorry about that, Nick, that you're having some technical difficulties. So I guess we'll pick one lucky fan to win that Messi jersey. Can we see it one more time before we pick our winner?
Absolutely. It's right here.
Ooh.
So if you once we pick a winner, if you want to go ahead and reach out to me, if you guys have social media, either reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. It's at Danny DANI Solana 5. You reach out to me, send me your address, and I will send it over to you. Doesn't matter where you are, I'll ship it, most likely UPS or something. So yeah, we ready to go. I already know who I'm giving it to, man. I've had my eye on somebody for a while.
Who is it? Who are you giving it to?
I'm going with Tobar, man. I'm going with Tobar. Tobar's been active almost the entire 3 hours. Tobar, deserves it. Had some awesome takes. Got into a few fights, which is what us Uruguayans like. And so I think Tobar deserves it. So Tobar, go ahead and reach out to me or reach out to Will on one of our one of our social media accounts. And I'll get the jersey out to you as soon as possible.
Yeah. And guys, listen, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have several things in the works, MLS related. We got big interviews. I don't mind sharing this right now. I've got Taylor Twellman in the works. I'm going to have him on this week, most likely, for an interview to talk about MLS and maybe even ask him some of these things that we have been talking about tonight. So that's going to be cool. Be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe.
Can you ask him what he thinks about Suarez's knees 16 games in?
Yeah, I will. I'll ask him if he's got a second opinion on that now. But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. This was a blast. This went, obviously the results didn't in the way we wanted, or we didn't get the results we wanted. But I had a blast tonight. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. This has went about as smoothly and as perfect as I could have imagined. And Danny is obviously a great co-host for the match. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at tell me again what your ad is. I don't want to mess it up.
Right there, Danny Solana, DANI SOLANA 5. And I got some crazy takes there, man. So definitely give me a follow.
And he also has his channel of his own. It's called This Is Football. Very good channel. They talk a lot about Miami, but they talk about other stuff as well, right? They're just talking about hot topics, a lot of South American football. So make sure you subscribe to him there. Be on the lookout. This isn't going to be the last stream we do together. I think this was very fun. And yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm glad that we were able to do this tonight.
Awesome, man. Me too. I appreciate it. Thank you so much always for having me on. It's always a fun time when it's you and me. And like I said, Tobar, reach out to me on either on Will's or mine's, and we'll get that jersey out to you. And thank you so much for everybody who joined us, man. 3 hours is no easy feat, and you and I, my friend, we made it. And honestly, I think we deserve the trophy more than Pachuca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, 3 hours, 3 points, right? We get 3 points in our bag and a trophy. So yeah, until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.